Sup nerds, welcome to the Omni4Game podcast, episode 88. I am Sean, I'm joined with Chris and Brandon as always.
What's up guys, this week's Omni4Game recap. We go over our locals as always, we tell you how we did at our regional, and then we cover your guys' comment questions. So if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, we'll catch you next week.
Alright, so first topic, oh god if I can type, Tuesday locals recap.
So I'm definitely going first, right? I went
Yes.
X2? Okay. So, decided to test out Omni DNA. I ended up against Dante playing Zephiga round 1. Got him pretty easily because of how the deck works and how his deck works. My lock is more permanent than his lock. Like, you're immune to Digimon effects for a turn. You can't out my body forever. Then round 2 I played against Chris. I lost. Then round 3 I played against Ben, and I lost.
Nice.
Ben was playing Purpurial, and Chris will talk about his deck, so... This was like almost a week ago. I'm not going to go into the details.
That's fair.
Wow, that might have been the shortest Brandon's ever had one of these.
I'm pretty confident it was.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to the next part.
Same.
So, at Trinity, I got second. I was playing Digimon. I've been on Digimon for a little while now because I was practicing for Mesquite.
Mm-hmm.
Round 1, I played Ben, who was playing Virus Imperial. It was a pretty quick game. I think it shook Ben. He almost didn't even want to bring Virus Imperial to the event because of how quickly our game ended. Round 1, I just killed him real quick doing the Digimon stuff, and then game 2, he couldn't even play. He just bricked on level 3. So, round 2, played against Brandon, who was playing Omni DNA. Brandon was really stuck on what deck he wanted to bring to Mesquite because every time me and him played, it just seemed so one-sided. That it's like it made him like switch up decks like multiple times, like days before the event even happened. And I told him, I was like, Omni DNA seemed more scary than Adventure or Red Hybrid, because with Omni DNA, if I can't answer the Omnimon on the swing, like I'm in trouble because it just bottom decks it and I lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you don't see the War Growl X.
Right. So, but I need a lot more to happen to do that than just like a regular stack. Like I need to be able to Digivolve into War Growl and then pay the 4 memory to even Digivolve into the Digimon.
Yeah.
Or just have my Digimon I designed and do it for free.
Exactly. And then round 3, I played against Sean, who we can actually talk about his deck now. It was against Magna DNA. And for multiple weeks now, while I've been playing Digimon, I've been stuck at 2nd or 3rd place. Because, Bandai's system is whack. Because anytime we would meet in the final round, which was consistently for the past couple weeks, he would just establish a wall, and I'd just be like, I can't get over that wall because I was born on the wrong side. Because he was playing Magnemon X. I can't do anything against that. And he was also playing Paladin Mode Ace. Can't do anything about that. And no matter how many cards I have in my trash, because they're in my deck now.
It ends your turn.
And the worst part is, like, the Magna would always be immune. So it's not even like I'm blowing up the Imperial Dramon and gaining memory because it's immune. So I get literally no value. I don't get a trash or security card. Nothing gets played back out. So these past couple of weeks have been really hard. I have been consistently stuck at not it's 2nd or 3rd place. And it just depends on Bandai too. If there was multiple people going X1, they're like, all right, you get 4th. Like, okay, cool. Even though the only person I lost to was also the other undefeated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got 2nd that week. We only had 3 rounds.
Not a big show or turnout Tuesday. So I was playing Magnex DNA. I've been playing it for the past like week and a half, just practicing for Mesquite. Round 1 I played against Red Hybrid. which is basically free if I establish Magna X, which I did. Game 1 he like kind of bricked, and game 2 he chunked me at one point, but he has to kill me before I establish Magna X, or he's probably not going to be able to.
Is Will's red hybrid? I thought he was calling it hero. I know it's not the same hero that we saw at Mesquite.
What he's
entirely.
Yeah. What he's playing is what he was playing was red hybrid. You're thinking of when he played hero like 3 weeks ago or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
He was like actually playing like a red hybrid deck.
I thought he was still on heroes. Okay.
No. He's playing like the new promo Emperor and stuff.
Okay.
So I won that 2-0. That's just a really bad matchup for red hybrid. Round 2 played against Vortex, Zephica, whatever. Game 1 was pretty uneventful. Dante really couldn't do a whole lot. I think he whiffed on a level, if I'm not mistaken. I just killed him before he ever really got to do anything. Game 2 was awkward. He established a Medieval Gallantmon versus me, and also he had already searched the Zephica Ace. And Medieval Gallantmon's really awkward for me because my dual tamers, like, if I want to play something, like, I trigger the Medieval Gallantmon. At one point, I did do it. I did use one of my dual tamers just to bait the effect, so I could then continue my turn unopposed. And then I was able to, once I outed his Medieval Gallantmon, he wasn't able to do anything after that. And I just killed him, and I won that 2-0. Round 3 played against Chris. That matchup is not free. I will say this. That matchup's not free.
No.
But if I establish a Hexablaumon, they have to have very specific things in order to even be able to play the game. Like, Chris is playing Rivals Barrage, and some people play Skull Greymon. But if they're not playing either one of those, / have access to those, when my Hexablaw's on the field, they literally can't play. So if I do that, or if I go into Magna X and have a Paladin mode in my hand, I know the game's over. I lost my train of thought. I honestly forgot how I won. I know I 2-0'd you.
Both games were Paladin mode Ace.
Were they?
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
Either you have it or you don't. And I was swinging out, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, so if I don't do either one of those, or if they out my Hexablow and I can't like do anything before they reestablish, I can die. Like, that deck is not free at all. But no. If I ever get a Magna X on the field and I have Paladin mode Ace in my hand, the game is literally over. It's 100% win rate. They cannot do that.
I've taken games off of you, but I've never won. It's never consistently like I can win 2 out of 3 games.
Yeah.
I'll steal one here and then, but like it's never like consistently.
Yeah, like the games that I lose are either never establish Magna X, or they kill me through Magna X because I don't have a Paladin mode in my hand, because they can generate enough swings to kill me through it if they've already chunked me once. So I ended up winning that 2-0, and then I guess we'll move on to the Mesquite Regional that we went to.
So much fun. Got to meet a lot of people there that were fans of Sean's channel and the podcast. Had a really fun car ride. Learned a lot of things. Mm-hmm. You know, Ben likes to attempt murder on all of us.
Uh-huh.
He let the intrusive thoughts win. We almost didn't even make it there. You know, right next to an 18-wheeler. He wants to give us the Ben special. You know.
He was talking about when a tire gets blown out and you lose control of the car, and he felt the need to demonstrate while we were going like 75 miles an hour down the interstate next to a semi. And he was just
I'm in the back. I'm in the back trying to sleep in there. Then all I feel, like, I'm visually listening because I'm not actually asleep, and all I feel is this, and I'm just like,
yeah, Brandon, I'm literally sitting in the back with Brandon, and Brandon's like, you know, head down, resting. And Ben does it, and Brandon must have thought, oh, we're dead. And he like jumped up like this with eyes wide open.
like, bro, what the heck?
And then, so we drove all the way from Florida to Texas. Took us, I don't know, a little under 9 hours. No, not under 9 hours, but like a little bit over 9 hours.
It was like a little over 10, I think.
You think so? It never felt like all 10 hours.
I would say the drive itself was like 9.5, but
Yeah.
because we topped a couple times, it was definitely over 10.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. It never felt that long. Like like a car ride is good when you're able to literally just sit in the car and the entire ride there, just like not even have music on and just chill the whole time and talk.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice. That was how it was when just us three went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then we finally get there. We decide we're gonna go to the motel and check in.
It was a hotel.
Hotel.
I'm sorry.
There is a difference.
There is a difference.
The hotel with the hardest beds I've ever been on in my entire life, and the worst pillows I've ever seen in my entire life.
You must sleep on the softest stuff in the world, dude. I had no issues with the bedding.
The bed was okay. It was really just the pillows.
The pillows. Maybe you
were
had bricks in your pillows, because my pillows were perfectly fine. I like soft
my
pillows, and I didn't have any issues with the pillows.
It wasn't like the firmness or the softness of the pillows. It was just like the unevenness of the pillows.
Maybe you just
know
had
what I mean?
They
They were like
something, because I didn't notice anything like that.
maybe. Do you wanna tell them what happened?
After we get
I'm talking about the,
It's a good pre-reg.
I kind of assumed we were going to go over that. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to tell them the story?
All right. So we were looking at the email just to verify like how far away from the convention center we were and stuff, and we saw that we could pre-register on Friday night whenever we came in. Normally, you get like an extra event pack or something for pre-registering. Like there's some kind of incentive to do it, and
right.
They did not.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and they did not say that there was any benefit to it, but they were like, "Hey, if you guys want to pre-register, you can pre-register at this card shop that is not next to the convention center." Like
nowhere close.
Yeah, our hotel was like 10 minutes away from the convention center, maybe. But our hotel was like 48 minutes away from the card shop to pre-register.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so I was like, well, let's go pre-register. I mean, what else are we going to do? It's like we'd got in town like a little after 5. So we get on the interstate or whatever the hell it's called in Dallas, I don't know. And traffic is bumper to bumper and like barely moving. And I was like, about 5 minutes in, because I was the only one pushing to pre-register. Everyone else was just like, whatever, you know. And I was like, well, let's do it, you know, why not? About 5 minutes in, I was like, I mean, honestly, guys, if you want to, like, we can just turn around now, like. And
we're committed already.
Yeah, everyone's like,
we're bumper to bumper.
Yeah, we're already in the traffic. We might as well just push through it. And I was like, okay, I mean, whatever. It took us like over an hour to get there. We pre-registered. They put a band on our arm that we were told.
Paper band
that we were told we cannot remove until the next day. And no benefit to pre-registering. Didn't even get our participant stuff.
Nope.
And then we drove back. It was a 3-hour round trip. So when we were
on the way there, our side was backed up. The other side was moving just fine.
And then on the way back, it was the opposite. We were for some reason stuck in traffic again.
Just completely flipped.
And then we had to shower.
Yeah, we had to shower with those paper bands that we were told we can't.
Paper bands on.
Mm-hmm. I was Ben showered with his hand off to the side. This is what he was telling us. But I was like, I'm showering like it's not there, and if it falls off, I'm gonna pitch a fit if they say something to me about it.
I did shower I didn't mind. Like I did try and keep it away from most of the water.
I literally just pretended like it wasn't there, and I was like, if it falls, it falls. Like, I'll just bring it and be like, hey, man, it fell off while I was in the shower. Like, what do you expect it to do?
Another funny part is the lights, for some reason.
Us not to shower.
Yeah, it's like, you're a nerd. You're a dirty, filthy nerd. You don't shower, right?
The light in Sean's and Ben's bathroom, because we had 2 different rooms. Our rooms with Brandon.
Yeah.
Sean and Ben roomed together. The light in their bathroom did not work. And we also, Sean discovers later that there's a light on the mirror. We also have that light on our mirror. But it just your main light still did not work. There
was no main light. That mirror light is the only light in that bathroom.
See, that's wild.
Yeah. So
well, we had a control for it as well.
Yeah.
You could go up to the mirror and touch it, but the main way to turn it on is the switch.
So the light switch, when you walked into our bathroom, I clicked it up and just nothing happened. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I guess I called down to the front desk and they were like, well, maintenance won't be able to come up there until like 10 a.m. You can switch rooms if you want. And I was like, I mean, we've already like unpacked all of our stuff. And like, I was like, no, because we'd already been in our rooms for like a couple hours before I realized that the bathroom light wasn't working. And I was like, it's fine. Just, you know, send them up tomorrow morning, because we would have been like at the convention center by then. And then shortly before we go to bed, this was after Ben had showered, by the way. He showered in the dark. I'm assuming he used his flashlight from his phone, which is what I was going to do. I went in there and I was just looking with my flashlight while I was going to the bathroom. And behind the faucet of the sink, like where the water comes out to where, like, I don't even think Ben would have even seen that from his vantage point. It's a little like sun icon on the mirror. Yep. And I was like, that's weird. And I touched it and it turned on the light on the mirror. And then that let me control the light with the light switch by the door. And I was like, who the hell would turn it off by this button to then cause the next person to be like confused? But apparently that bathroom is just really weird, because it did the same thing Sunday morning before we left, where I turned the switch on and it was acting like it didn't work and I had to touch the sun again. So like there's something wrong with that bathroom to where like you just have to use that button.
Or, hear me out, the room service are just trolls.
No, because I went in there and turned it on, but like after we got home it worked, or after we got back to the hotel it worked, and then the next morning when I woke up it wasn't working again, and no one had come in our room between them. So I don't know like what's wrong with that, but like it just stops recognizing the light switch for some reason. You have to press the button, unless Ben was using the button like a little beehole, but I don't know. He didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, so the hotel situation was all right. They had really good hot chocolate.
Yes, they did have good hot chocolate. Ben tried to say he got a really good hotel. This is much like when he tries to say Cinderella's a good deck. The hotel wasn't bad. I will say that, like, the room was nice. I had no complaints about it.
I never thought I was gonna get mugged.
Yes. The bedding and the pillows were fine to me. We had it was actually perfect when we got there, because each room had a little like table that was almost the perfect size to play test on. And we pulled the tables and chairs from one room into the other, and we were testing when we first got there. Really heavy tables, but that was really nice.
No need to be that heavy.
Unnecessarily heavy. But they had...
prevent us from taking the tables, duh.
Yeah. We can't let you pack this in your luggage. The one elevator did not work. It was out of order with like caution tape on it.
Yep.
They had a pool and a hot tub, both of which were like green and definitely
still water. Like they had no circulation, they had no cleaning like agents running. There was no like pool vacuum, nothing. Just still water. Like imagine what you expect to find in an abandoned building. Pool.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. They had a little like water fountain near the lobby, which it was a very tiny hotel, but and it had like one of those things where you could refill water bottles, and I used it, and the water was like warm and also tasted gross, so I was like, I'm not using this. They had a complimentary breakfast, which consisted of like mini muffins, apples, and like a waffle that you had to make yourself. And you could get cereal too, and bread.
That cereal's stale as hell.
Yeah, they had cream cheese. Bagels. They had cream cheese in their fridge, but there were no bagels to be had either morning.
Bro,
I even checked Sunday before we left. I was like, they have bagels? Nope.
Like, how are you going to have cream cheese but no bagels?
Yeah, it's like a tease.
How are you going to offer a complimentary breakfast and be this cheap of a hotel? Sorry. Got to put some layer of respect on it. How are you going to be this cheap of a hotel and you don't even have bagels?
Yes.
Like that's the complimentary breakfast staple, a bagel and cream cheese. Instead of got to this waffle I have to make myself.
Yeah,
that's why the waffle was the best part.
I didn't even make I was like, I'm not gonna prepare my own breakfast. Like if they had them prepared, I would have taken one, but I was like, I'm not gonna make my own waffle.
So yeah, and then we wake up the next morning. We head over there. Turns out we didn't even need to pre-register because we got nothing extra. They just replaced our paper bands with the plastic ones.
Yeah.
Didn't even get cool
And then handed us our
badges.
participation stuff.
Yeah, didn't even get cool badges to like keep as souvenirs.
Yeah,
Nope,
no
nothing.
badges. That was surprising.
Nothing. Very upsetting. I'm like, we've only got to go to so many in-person events. I'd like to have taken like a souvenir home. Nope, couldn't even do that. We took ours off as soon as the event ended. Ben wore his. He might still be wearing it. I don't know.
He might still have it on. He had it on the drive home, and we kept mentioning it, and he just like would look at it and laugh. And I was like, I would have as soon as I registered that it was still on my hand or on my wrist after the event was over, like when we were going to dinner, I was like, oh yeah, and I pulled it off.
Yep. And then the actual tournament started. Well, we got there like an hour early. They started a little bit late. We met
Pretty late.
Pretty late because of all the waitlisted people.
Yeah, they were trying to get waitlisted people in.
If Lucas and them are listening to this, the group from Mobile that sometimes come down here to play with us at TBS, they actually all were waitlisted, and I would not. That would be crazy because he told you Friday that they were all waitlisted.
He told me the week prior that
yeah, and that they were gonna drive down and be like, hopefully they let us play. I wouldn't take that risk.
Yeah, I'm not driving 10 hours and paying for room and board to maybe play.
Maybe get in. Like, I guess if you don't make it in, you just kind of like make like
you can do the side events and stuff. Yeah, but like I don't have that kind of money.
That's a risk.
Okay, bye, Brandon.
Why did he just leave? His
Discord's messing up.
Oh,
it's fine.
Was it earlier?
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be back.
Gotcha. He's just sent pictures. Why is he gone?
Hello, very Brandon. Strange.
This is the second time now.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Discord booted me out of the call, attempted to update, then said failed to update, and then just let me back.
You're still using a MacBook.
So I closed it. Yeah. So I closed it, like force closed it, and then hit it with then started it back up, and it didn't even attempt to update.
So, anyways, yeah, I don't even know if I could risk that not being able to get in. So I guess a bunch of people got entered in very late, so the tournament started a little bit late.
It was like 30 plus minutes after it was supposed to start.
Yeah,
we didn't start till like 11:10 when we got our pairings, I think.
Yeah. And everything pretty much ran really smooth after that, though.
From that point forward, it was fine.
We met a couple people who were fans of the channel. Some wanted pictures with Sean. But yeah, so I guess we can just kind of get into the event, unless you guys can think of anything else.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who came up and mentioned that they watched the pod and listened to the channel, stuff like that.
Yes.
Except for that one guy that doesn't like me. What'd I do to you?
Yeah.
What'd I do to you?
So, one
How'd I
dude
hurt
was
you?
One guy said he was a pod and he liked me because I was sarcastic, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're my favorite on the pod." I was like, "Oh cool, that's so nice to hear." Usually they say it's Chris, and he just shook his head, and I was like, "Yeah."
Vehemently.
No.
He was like, "Nah, hard no, hard no." What'd I do to you?
Screw you, Chris. It goes big enough as it is.
The participant packs we got.
Oh yeah.
So this event pack is pretty cheeks if you don't pull basically. It's Shadramon or nothing. I guess Protoform if you need Protoforms. Okay. My packs were definitely the worst out of all four of us by far. Between Chris and Brandon, they pulled 3 Shadramons. I pulled, I think, a Quartz.
An analog.
An analog, which I already have the 4 textured ones from the box topper pack, and something else that was worthless. I don't even remember what it was, but nothing of value in my packs. Like nothing worth more than like $5 or anything I wanted. And then like between those 3, they were like, it was like Rivals Barrage, Protoform, Shadramons, like all the good stuff.
Yep.
Just wanted to mention that.
So Ben was able to get his 4 Shadramons right before the event, so he had them. I also had the 3 analog use from Magidramon that I was using. So. But yeah, if you guys want to just get started on the actual tournament.
Yeah,
the actual recap
I'm
itself.
assuming Brandon. Oh, I guess we can go over Ben's since he's not here.
He's not here.
So,
I was also going to recommend, do you guys just want to go round by round since there's 9 and it wouldn't just be one of us talking for...
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That way
Ben
Chris can't complain that I go on and on and on.
It's tough. It's tough out here.
Yeah.
Being stuck in the backseat with Brandon for it was rough.
I spent a majority of the second ride not even talking.
Yeah,
it was
you were
awful.
literally like earbuds in. I'm gonna stare at my iPad like an iPad kid. I'm not here.
I text me.
Yeah,
I
freaking
ate my
loser.
snackies. Yeah, I had my snackies. I woke up with a bit of a headache, so I put on something to focus on, and
I brought Tylenol, and you forgot to ask for it.
I know. I
brought it too, just in case, because Sean said in his last in-person event, he woke up with a really bad one, and I was like, I don't want to wake up with a bad one if I don't like the beds and everything and sleep.
I brought my BC powders. Like ever since Dallas, I've tried to remember bringing BC powders.
And Brandon also has like chronic headaches and stuff, so I was like, I'm gonna bring these just in case. I ended up using them because I did wake up with like a little bit of a pain, like I could feel it. So it was a good thing I brought them. But yeah, Ben,
we get back in the car, we start moving, we know we're not stopping again, and I went.
Yeah,
so I knew I forgot.
We
to ask
stopped
Chris for the dang
2 different times.
We did.
By the time we stopped that next time, it was gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Ben starts the event. He's playing Virus Imperial.
Mm-hmm.
He starts off 2-0. It's looking good. He finished 3-6.
3-5.
Or 3-5. 3-5. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. No,
yeah, 3-6.
That's 9.
He's finished 4. He finished 4-5.
Are you sure? I thought he only won one more game. And it was the Necromon.
No, he finished 4-5. I'm pretty sure. God, you're gonna make me double check, dude.
He's rank 157.
I think you have a 5 type of rank.
I'm pretty sure.
You think so? 4-5?
I think 4 or 5 makes way more sense for at least 100.
I thought he only won one more game because he was pretty miserable the rest of the event.
I think he won another one somewhere in there. He had 12 points. So yeah, he went 4-5.
Okay, so he went 4-5. He started off 2-0 and then finished 2-5.
4-5.
No, I meant he started 2-0 and then finished the event going 2-5.
Oh,
so
from
it
that
started
point
off
forward.
well.
Yeah. It was not a good day for Benjamin.
It was not. Unfortunate for him. He gets to the final round. He sees the table he's sitting at. His opponent hatches, digivolves into Ghostmon, and then hard plays Metal Phantomon. And then he looks to his left.
Gives him 7 memory, turn 0.
Yeah. He looks to his left, sees Tyrannomon playing against something, looks to his right.
He's at Examon with no mat.
Yeah, a Tyrannomon versus an Examon with no mat. And then he said this to me. He goes, I don't think I should be here. Now, that might not be the exact wording because we know how Ben is. He's very specific. Okay, so those might not be his exact words. But basically, he sat there in his own head, listed off all the tops and accomplishments he's had. He is a very well-known player in the Digimon community.
He is a very good player. He's topped nationals multiple times.
Yes, he had a lot of players come to him and were like, "Oh, hey, Ben," like they all know him. He's very well known in the community. He has a lot of tops, a lot of wins, a lot of
I don't think he has any premier event wins, but he has a lot of tops.
Wins, but tops. And so he's very well known. Okay, and then he literally was like, "I should not be here." Playing against Necromon in round 9 at the bottom end tables because normally he said he would have just dropped, but he's like, might as well play it out.
Yeah, if we were in an online event, he would have for sure dropped, and I would have dropped too if I had his record at a certain point. Because there's no reason, because it's not like you're doing anything.
Yeah, because at one point he's like 2-4. There's no reason to play. So yeah, unfortunate for Ben. We tried to tell him, prior to this that Virus Imperial isn't the most consistent deck. It is very high rolly. It takes a lot of luck.
Oh.
Which is crazy because Virus Imperial did take third, I believe, at the event, if I saw correctly.
Yeah.
But then that's how it is. That's how it is sometimes. Like the deck was that player just had a lot of luck and just ended up winning a lot more rounds with it.
So he did lose some games to RNG, but he also, like, after like round 3 or 4, he just started playing really poorly. Like he was talking about like how he basically just threw games because he wasn't thinking through things. So yeah, he just didn't have a good mental.
Yeah, at one point he's at like 1 memory. He needs to swing his Dino Beamon into a Digimon to crash it and then like gain some memory and stuff like that. And before he does any of that, he just hard plays an analog for 2 and passes his turn and then lost the next turn. Because again, he thought about it, he knew the correct play, but for some reason his body was just like, his body just goes, all right, analog.
It was random things like that throughout the rest of his tournament, on top of him losing games to RNG, which is going to happen with that deck. Right. So like if you're playing poorly and you're a victim to RNG, like you're not going to have a good time.
Yes. So I guess we'll go with Brandon first.
Yeah.
And what placement did you get, Brandon?
101.
Nice.
Not bad. You know, top third of the event.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I hang that on my hat. I brought a for fun deck and got top 1/3. Yep. So to start round 1, I played against Security App, or App Security, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, bye, Brandon.
All right, bye, Brandon. Yeah, so basically it was a security control deck with a bunch of Atmon cards that the security Digimon from Atmon, and the guy was playing like the Keenan Crier that gains memory when a Digimon's played by an effect. He was playing the BT4 card that gains memory when security is removed, and it was like a whole like shtick of I'm gonna recover, force you to check all my security Digimon, and then I guess lethal you with those guys.
He probably had to have like Magna Angemons. Oh, he's back.
Okay.
Brandon, I don't know what's going on with my Discord today.
I went ahead and explained the concept of the deck
Discord
while you were gone, so you can just continue with how the match went.
Cannons, Karis, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
do you play Magna Angemons and stuff to like recover back in more in there?
No, he used Tactical Retreat.
Okay.
I still would have played Magna Angemons. Like, why not?
I would have played the 6-cost option that recovers.
To be fair, I barely saw the top end. I barely even saw the top end of the deck. The only level 6 he ever went into was Invisimon.
Another pseudo recovery card.
Yeah, and that was the turn I killed him.
See, I feel like
security, and then I killed him.
I feel like if I'm playing this kind of deck, I would play a red bottom end, like the aggressive kind, with like Gatsumons, so you know you're playing Floodgates as well.
Well, that would
Solar Mons.
That would flood you out of the game too.
Oh, okay, you're right. You'd hurt yourself. Then I guess I would play like more like the bird that allows you to draw more cards when you swing, the Coral Mons. Yeah, and then I would play it like
a lot of
with all this
wind is red.
Yeah, I would play all the security Digimon, and then I would just play like Magna Angemons, both of them, and then like Ace cards as my top end.
Yeah.
Like at least then you're like, if you get the security control Digimon out of that, you know, you can still play Tactical Retreat, and like Sean said, the 6-cost option that recovers one. So at least because it doesn't seem like it has a win condition.
It doesn't.
Its win condition is to flood the board, forcing you to pass turn. Because if you remember, the app level 5 Charizimon has taunt. So they force you to swing your turn and then pull turn with Keenan Criers and Karis.
The big issue I have with that deck is the fact that it has a really bad matchup into the most popular deck of the format right now, which is Megidra.
Yep.
Because Megidra swings and they check all your security Digimon, whatever, and then it nukes the board and they're all dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only downside for the Megidra player, big of a downside, is you're probably not going to be able to pull turn back.
Yeah, you can't maintain turn, but if you just do that every time you promote, like, he's not going to win.
No. Yeah. So I do take that 2-0 because I also am playing a hard counter with cards like War. Oh, I'm playing Omni DNA.
Yeah.
I did end up landing on that deck. I just felt more comfortable with it. because I do play cards like War Greymon and Alter B, trash his security. So both games I got him down to 3 security, and just went, okay, Alter B for game, and he went, yeah, okay, cool, and then just like scooped up. So
You got it.
yep, there's
So-
literally nothing you can do at that point because I'm also deleting your tamers. So
Yeah. So I'll go next. I got 87th. Was hoping for a little better ranking, but my secondary goal was just to have like a positive record, so I ended up going X4 through 9 rounds. Round 1, I played against Adventure, and I'm playing Megidramon. This is one of the more of the scarier matchups for me, just because if they can establish like the option card and start
Courage.
rolling, yeah, and if they can start rolling, it can be pretty difficult for me. But I don't see
the moment they get 4 colors on the board, you're in trouble.
Yeah, the game 1, he wasn't able to establish enough colors tamer wise, which was one of the reasons why Brandon dropped off the deck, because it's a little inconsistent. It takes a lot of luck being able to see the right colors, the right tamers, which is crazy. Seeing as how what deck ended up winning the whole event, which was Adventure by Huang, which I think he said in his video, and I called it. I told you, can't wait to watch the 40-minute video where he explains all of this. The video is 33 minutes long. That's pretty close. He said, I think he said it like 44 of the 50 cards in the whole deck were all from the starter deck.
Decks.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is crazy. I think that if we do another tier list, we might have to rank those 2 decks as like 2 of the highest ones, because I don't think anyone could just pick up 2 of those decks and just like win an event with it. Because if only 6 cards from are like, and only 2 of them are ties, so there's only 4 other cards in his entire deck that aren't from those starter decks.
Yeah.
So we'd probably have to rank those pretty high. Anyways, back to my matchup. I ended up winning 2-1. Game 1, he wasn't able to establish enough tamers. I was just able to do my stuff. Game 2, I hit a tamer or 2 out of security, which allowed him to play, and I wasn't able to see Wargrowl X, so I'm not able to protect my Megidramon swings from getting, bottom decks and whatnot. And then Game 3, I made what I assumed really smart play. Well, I'm not going to assume. It was a really smart play. He had a level 5 on the board, and a Metal Garu suspended, and then I think another Metal Garu. I can't remember exactly. This was like super early in the day yesterday. No, 2 days ago. But I don't remember the exact board setup. But anyways, I had my field set up. I digivolved into Wargrowlmon, digivolved into Wargrowl X, activated the effect, popped his level 5. He did not have the option card set up. He did have 2 Melgarus, because I ended up going to like almost 10 memory. And now I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, if I don't win this turn, I just lose the following turn. I swing, and I don't have any way to gain more memory to digivolve into a Megidramon and follow the swing here. So I sit here and think, and I go, then this is what happens when I actually play test the deck for multiple weeks and actually like think out play lines. Yeah, it does. It matters a lot. And think out play lines and different situations and stuff. I have the Rage Retail, swing into his Melga. Old Chris would like a pick up new deck, would just swing at security and be like, alright, whatever, I guess I'm not winning this. Swing it, and he's at 1 security. No, 2 security. I can't remember. Swing into his Melga. Both delete. Trash his security. And then I ended up rebuilding an entire new Megidramon off that and ended up just winning from there. I thought it was really smart. I know it must seem like a really small interaction, but it was like, oh, I'm on it today. Like I'm actually seeing these kind of play lines and everything. So I started off 2-1. I ended up winning 2-1 against Adventure, which was, I thought, was going to be one of my tougher matchups today. That and Royal Knights were like the 2 decks I was most worried about. The Megidra mirror match, I'm not too worried about, because that one's more of a 50-50. Like, unless you just absolutely play poorly, it's going to be tough to try and win that one consistently. That one's all down to who sees what first.
Yeah.
So I ended up winning that one 2-1.
So my round one, which I stayed up kind of late the night before the tournament, and I only got like 6 or 7 hours of sleep, which I mean isn't like the worst thing in the world, but I would prefer to get at least 8. I wasn't really feeling it going into round one. Thankfully, though, I played against a relatively new player playing Cinderella. He even mentioned like before the match started, like, hey, I'm probably gonna forget to draw like every time, and I was like, okay, well, I'll watch and just make sure that you don't miss any draws. Really nice guy. Game 1 he bricked on 4s, and I just killed him before he ever got a chance to play the game. Game 2, if he were more experienced, I lose that game. He had lethal on his field for like 2 consecutive turns, but because he knew that when he swung I was going to block one of them with Magnex and it was going to die, and I was going to block another one and that whoever that was going to die, he didn't just swing out. If he just swings out, he kills me through Magnex. So thankfully I just got extra turns that I should not have gotten, and I win that. Game 3, I mean, if we had a game 3, like as long as I don't draw like really slow like I felt like I did game 2, I probably win the matchup, but thankfully I didn't. We actually wouldn't have had time for a game 3. Game 2 took forever. I forgot about that. We would have drawn for sure if he wins game 2, but we take those thankfully. So I ended up winning my round 1 match 2-0. Brandon.
Okay, you're already done? Cool.
Yeah, not much to say.
Round 2, I played against Megidramon, and I'm clutching that one out 2-0. Game 1, I established the Omni lock after he did his first Megidramon. So when he went to do his second Megidramon, I was able to Omni him as he was passing turn. So he passed his turn, I bot deck his dude, and it's my turn, and I just win. Game 2, he was struggling to see Megidramon itself, so I was just able to kill him before he ever actually saw it. So, pretty simple game.
Round 2, mine was also extremely quick. I won 2-0. My opponent was playing Imperial, pure Imperial. Poor guy. Someone walked by, because at this point we're at like not top tables, but we're like in the 40s, maybe 30s, I can't remember. He must have had a friend walk by and he goes, "Oh, you got round 1? Good job, bud." He's like, "Good luck the rest of the turn." He's like, it's probably not gonna last." I proceeded to kill him like within 10 minutes. Game 2, he didn't even really get to play. He never saw level 5. Game 1, he did establish like a dragon mode. But I ended up swinging out with Megidramon, blowing everything up. He decided not to go into it, and then I played Rush Guillaumon and just killed him. So, unfortunately for him, I ended up just winning that one.
Round 2, played against Megidramon. We both bricked game 1. Neither one of us saw Ricky for the first couple of turns, but I saw Ricky first, and I was able to kill him before he was able to even do anything of merit. Game 2, he bricked again, and I killed him in 3 turns. Like, I lethaled him on my 3rd turn, going second.
Swing, draw, unsuspend, swing, draw.
Yeah,
Did you roll him the Magna for 4? Activate effect, unsuspend.
Yep, it was swing with armor on my 2nd turn, live, do something else.
Oh, you're feeling risky.
I mean, if I have another armor in my hand, I'm swinging with the armor every time.
You might as well.
The only time I don't swing is when I don't have a 2nd armor to go into if it dies, or I don't have enough memory if it dies to do it. But
so you guys can tell by my very perfect recreation what it's been like playing against this deck.
Yeah, I mean, if you see it, like, the game is over very quickly if your opponent has nothing going on their board. But yeah, I think that match was over pretty quickly. I think I won in like 15 minutes or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, me and you both ended up winning that.
Oh yeah, I was walking. I came back out of the bathroom, and you were like had just finished your match. That's what it was. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Back to round 3. So round 3, I played against Royal Knights. Now, this is probably the boogeyman for me, other than maybe like one other deck, because he just put Digimon Emperor turn 1 both games, and it slows me to a crawl, and then he just accrues all his resources for free, and I basically didn't get to play. And
you don't play Gravity Crush, do you?
There's no room for that.
Is there, you can't find room for a couple of Gravity Crushes? I feel like you
if
could
I'm
find
playing a
room
card that either doesn't help me get to Omni or doesn't Omni, it's probably not fitting in the deck.
Digimon Emperor literally prevents you from playing.
Yeah. And it's a good thing only one deck is currently playing it.
That's not that's not a normal thing. That guy was teched out.
It's not. Yeah, he was just teching out. Alright, so
Tekken 3.
Yeah. Round 3, I played against Armor. I was kind of surprised to see that. Especially at like 2-0. I just thought the deck wasn't it's just too inconsistent in my opinion.
Matchups
I thought it was gonna be a very weird matchup. I was a little scared because like my Megidramon will pop them, but they'll just armor purge. I thought I played this very smart. I played this more as a war of attrition than I'm just gonna try and kill you real fast, because if I leave him bodies on the board, he will just kill me.
Yes.
Game 1, he almost did kill me. He needed one more unsuspend Magna to actually kill me. I was at 0 security. He ended up having to digivolve into Flame Dramon, passing turn, drew, and he goes, oh, of course. So, he drew the one Magna that he needed to actually kill me. I ended up just killing him that turn. Did all my Megidramon stuff, like just destroyed his security, and then ended up winning with a bunch of swarming bodies because I was actually able to start. I was actually able to stabilize. Game 2, he opened up a little bit slower. I actually helped him game 1. I hit a Davis out of security. And then, so, that actually got him going. Game 2, he never saw Davis, which was nice, and I was just able to kill him real quick. So, I had nothing to really worry about in that game. Like I said, I played it more of like a war of attrition. I was never too worried about actually, like, trying to kill him. I was just like, you're going to eventually, like, run out of armors. I'm just going to focus on trying to delete your bodies and clear them off, and then try and kill you to the point where, like, I feel like I can kind of outgrind you, because I'm just going to keep filling up my trash and just eventually just win.
Mm-hmm.
And just never let him stabilize. So that's just kind of how I plan that.
Round 3, I go to table 9, and my opponent never shows up. No idea what happened to them. Hopefully they're okay, but I had a no-show.
I thought you were on stream.
So after 10 minutes of me sitting there, funnily enough, I was telling Ben this after, like at Saturday night after we got back to the hotel, I was like, that was the most anxious I was all day. Like playing matches and stuff, like I'm completely fine. Like I don't get like nervous or anything. So I play so much that it just doesn't register to me that I should be nervous. But waiting for my opponent to show up after like a couple of minutes, I was like super anxious, because I was like, please don't show up, dude. I've already mentally checked out of this match. I just want to take the free win and get up. So I was just like scanning the room, waiting for someone to look like they were in a rush running to my table. But he never showed up. Ended up getting it for free. I was able to, for the first time, someone 2 tables over from me was playing Angels, and he had an SP Angelwomon Ace on the field. And it was still in the field when I got up, and I got a good look at it as I was leaving. So pretty, dude. It's so much nicer than I expected to look in person. Like, I didn't think it was going to be ugly, but like it looks way better than the scan does. But I end up like I have nothing to do because literally everyone's still playing their matches. So I just walk over to the stream, and I message the group, and I'm like, hey, I'm over by the stream when you guys are done. Like, my opponent was a no-show. And then apparently Ben communicated to the group. He's like, yeah, I think Sean's on stream, because like he didn't read the message very well, I guess.
Because I literally looked over, and just because you're like a pretty tall guy, I like look over and just see you standing over there, and I walk over and say, Ben said you're on stream. What are you doing out here? And he's like, No, I said I'm watching the stream.
Yeah, I'm watching the stream. I'm not on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, so round 4, Brandon.
Yeah. So round 4, to continue my decline, I then play against Megidra again. Game 1, I opened up really slow. It wasn't slow enough to where I couldn't play, but it was slow enough to where he was able to outpace me and just kill me before I could Omni4Game him. And then game 2, I drew every single copy of Melga in the deck, but not a single War Greymon. So even though he opened up slow as well, I could not secure the game in the state I was in without a War Greymon to, do the namesake of the deck and go into Omni. So I ended up losing 0-2 there, just because of RNG. Like, there's nothing I could have done.
Yeah. And so I ended up playing against Royal Knights this round. One of the boogeymans for me, I was, one of the decks I probably have I thought almost the least amount of experience against. No, that's going to be a deck I see later. A deck I didn't even know about. So Royal Knights. It can be a little scary for Megidramon, especially if the Royal Knight player knows what he's doing and he times his effects properly and, yada yada. This guy had a very blinged out Royal Knight deck. From everything I saw, he had the SPs. He had all of the tricked out nice arts. I was very afraid. I'm like, this guy is invested. Game 1, unfortunately, he just couldn't see either Omni, I guess, because Omni X never came out when he Omegamoned. So I guess he just never saw that one. But I guess he was digging for BT13 Omni. If he would have seen that, he probably would have just killed me. He had enough. He definitely had more than enough sources. I just ended up winning that one. And then game 2, he opened up really poorly. He opened up Magnamon, and then after that it was extremely slow for him. He never saw Cool Boy. He never saw really any of the options, and he said maybe one of each. He did activate the 4-cost one. What is that? The Guardian one? What is it called? The search one. Anyways.
It has the word Guardian in it. I can't think of the other words, though.
Yeah. At one point, he activates that, gains the memory back, does a search, and then plays Purge for the full 6, giving me 5 or 6 memory, and then tried to gain the memory. He must have been so lost in sauce. He tried to gain the memory back. I was like, you've already gained the memory once, and then pushed it back to 6, and then I won that turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, that happens sometimes. I'm not sure. Maybe he was just worried because his hand was slow, and he was just lost in it. So I actually started the tournament 4-0. I'm like, oh, we're doing real well right now. It does not last, unfortunately.
Spoilers, dude.
Yeah.
So round 4, I get paired versus another Megidramon player, which this is the one matchup that I expected to see multiple times just because of how popular it is. I assumed it was going to be the most represented deck in the room. So game 1, I established a Magna X, but he has already chunked me at one point, and I'd seen most of my deck, and I activated memory boost to pass turn, looking for Paladin mode. So I was like, I just need Paladin mode, and the game is over. He cannot win if I see Paladin mode. Did not see it, and I was like, man, it must be the bottom 5 cards in my deck. Turns out it was Insecurity. He killed me on his turn. That's what happens when I play against that deck if I don't see Paladin mode, and they're able to chunk me at least once.
Most unfortunate part was Sean was debating whether or not to put a second one in, and decided right before the event not to.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it was a good idea.
In hindsight, it would have been a good idea to play 2 because it is literally I win the game if I have a Magnex on the field and Paladin mode in my hand. You cannot beat me.
Yep.
Game 2, I established a Hexablow that he could not out, and it just kept him from being able to play the game way longer than I needed to. I was eventually going to kill him, but he actually scooped before I actually had to lethal him, which I actually thought was interesting. I wonder if he thought that my Hexablow had jamming, because it was only 12k on my turn, and he had 2 security left, and I had a Hexablow on the field that I had not swung with for 2 turns, and I was going to be promoting a rookie on the next turn, and he scooped to maybe he had seen all of his deck and knew like all of his 12Ks and higher were in his hand or whatever, or in his trash. But like I have a lose condition there. Like I'm not even 100% confident I would have tried to swing there.
Yeah.
But he ended up
he also
scooping.
could have just been worried that it was going to take too long, and if you did grind the game out, going to game 3, you'd have drew.
We were gonna be tight for game 3 if we had pushed that game for many more turns. So he ended up scooping.
Yeah, so it might have just been a smart scoop.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because like he is banking on my Hexablow exactly dying to the first check. If it survives the first check, he loses that turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what the first security check was? Oh no, yeah,
he scooped. I didn't see his security. Game 3, I established Magna X, and I had Paladin mode in my hand from turn 1. He activated his Grav Crushes and tried to kill me. And on like I think his first swing with his Megidra, I was just like, all right, Paladin mode, and he's like, yep, can't do anything. Because I had like 4 cards in my trash. Like, you're not doing it. Whatever you do is not going to be of consequence. You can't kill my Paladin mode. You lose here. So
yeah, I mean, you literally lose the Megidramon float and everything. He just kills himself for nothing.
Yep, he just pokes at my security, chunks me for 2 damage, and then he blows himself up. And their board is clear. They have 1 card in trash, which is the Megidramon, and I have whatever they've checked on my security if it's not a tamer or an option. And like maybe 1 or 2 other cards.
Yeah, it basically just hard resets them. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and they're set so far back that there's no way I'm losing, even if I've only hit them for like 1 or 2 security before that, which is not the case. Usually they're at like 2 or 1 security whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up winning that.
So now round 5, I played against, I don't even know what to call the deck. I'm gonna call it Megidra Bird. Megidra Bird is essentially Megidra bottom end with Phoenix X as the top end. And basically, he 2-0'd me because even he admitted he basically super high rolled me both games. Like game 2, I think it was, he plays Cool Boy, reveals Growl X, and then reveals X antibody.
Proto?
No, not Proto. This time it's just normal X antibody.
That's weird. I don't even know why they would play regular X antibody. I would just play Proto.
I'll tell you why they do it. Because he tucked it under the War Growlmon, swung, War Growlmon X, by the way, swung, evoed into the Phoenix X, pulled all the memory, and kept turn.
Well, Phoenix X has Blitz. That's why it makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that makes no sense because the future, the 2 I played both play Proto form, which makes way more sense because the bird. Okay, I mean. I would just rather play proto forms because the Digivolution costs for the birds are so much. Yeah. Like I would rather just pay 1 less.
Anyway, I mean he did.
Yeah. Anyways,
game 1 he had proto, which is why I was like, oh okay. So anyway, he basically 2-0's me super fast. He basically high rolled the absolute bejesus out of me. I didn't even really have a chance to do anything. Like I think I promoted 1 rookie, and then died. It was so fast. Because he got to play the Oryu, and then he DNA'd into Alpha, and it was a whole thing.
The crazy deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So round 5, I'm actually at the top end tables now. I'm like within like the top 10. Because I've only dropped 1 game this entire time so far. And this is where I end up getting my first loss. I lost to Royal Knights. I checked later. This guy ended up in like the top 5, I think. Very good player. Completely base rarity Royal Knights. Not a single alt art. Everything just base. Game 1, he was able to control the board extremely well. I also did not see Megidramon. 2 or 3 of them were in security. I just could not recoup them fast enough to actually stabilize. Game 2, I was actually able to play a little bit. He opened up a little bit slower. He needed to rip the Omni X on his turn, which I'm assuming he did because on my following turn, I think the turn before I Cool Boy. I hit a Cool Boy out of security, and he was like, "Oh, okay, nice." And he actually needed that. That ends up coming in the following turn. I was going for lethal. He did have the one Omni X that he happened to rip. I believe he said off the cool boy that I gave him from the turn before. So if I don't hit the cool boy out of there, he doesn't get the extra draw, which ends up being the Omni X. Unfortunate. Otherwise, I just win that game. Very good player. Knew exactly how to play the matchup. I played it to the best of my abilities that I thought. Game 1, it was a struggle because obviously I couldn't see Digimon. I don't know how much that actually helps. I think the difference between the first World Night player I played and this one was the first World Night player I played was very, very free with his Oryukenmons. He would just stick it out on the board for almost no value, and then I would just blow that sucker up and maintain turn. This guy was like, I'm never just sticking out an Oryukenmon to just give you free
memory.
Free memory. So yeah, I ended up losing to him. A really good player, really cool guy. Unfortunate, but I kind of felt like a little pressure lifts off my shoulders after losing one round because I was the pressure of like trying to stay winning is like a lot. But I mean, I thought I played well. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. You know, eventually your luck's gonna catch up to you.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
Round 5. I sit down and my opponent, I think he won the die roll. He hatches Gurimon from BT21 and plays like one of the tamers, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what this is.
This guy's 4-0.
He's apparently playing Heroes, or Hero, whatever you want to call the archetype, which I have 0 playtesting or experience versus, and I'm like, I don't really know what the point of this deck is. I'm just gonna have to figure it out on the fly. Both games he just ran me down. I unfortunately just drew pretty slow versus him, and I can't tell if he high rolled me or not because I've never seen the deck play before, but like it was over pretty swiftly both games. Like he 2-0'd me in like less than 20 minutes. It's like basically BT21 the deck. It's like a bunch of the hero cards and then like Gaiamon is your level 6.
Yeah. The superior modes.
Yeah,
that card's really good.
Yeah, I never established a Magnex versus him, if that gives you an idea of like what my hands were like. So yeah, 2-0'd me very quickly, and that was my first loss, and I was just like, dang, that sucks. Wish I had any idea what was going on, but honestly, I don't really think it mattered because of like how I drew versus him.
And then this is the round Brandon's trying to tell us, because you know we're all sitting at the losers table now because we've all lost. And Brandon at this point is like, I think I'm just gonna drop, and we're like, nah, dude, come on, you're here, play it out. You know, at least try and aim for like a positive record.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try. So we go into round 6, and I get paired up against Galacti. Now, this is another one of the boogeyman for my deck, because they have rampant tamer removal. And I am very tamer reliant sometimes. By sometimes, I mean a lot of the times. But not as much as adventure. Like, I can still do some plays without tamers, but
you
it's
don't
definitely
need them on the field.
Yeah. In adventure, you need them on the board. But I do get this 1-2-1. So game 1, he was able to Ragna Cannon me, or Ragnarok, whatever it's called, after I couldn't set up, because again, he just keeps popping my tamers. So I die really fast game 1. Game 2, I squeeze the win by just being able to Omni him and out the Galacti and stalling him with cards like BT15 Melga. Because once they hit Galacti, I'm good sometimes, because like I can just hit it with the BT15 Melga, stop it from swinging. And that means, A, I have the evade on the BT15 Melga, so he doesn't pop me at the start of my turn, and I can now counter him or, you know, ace him on my turn whenever I feel like it. It's more on my terms. And then game 3, he just never saw Galacti, so I was able to kill him, like, pretty quickly. Thankfully, he was not able to see the win con of his deck. And obviously, if I see the win con of my deck, I win. That's how that works. So
That is how that works.
That is how that works.
So round 6, I get matched up against Purple Hybrid. Unfortunately, I drop another game here. Game 1, I just never saw War Groundmon, which again is going to happen, and Purple Hybrid can run you down really quick. He established 2 Mimis super early in the game, so my option cards are just absolutely toast. My trainings are now like 4 cost. My memory boosts are now 5 cost. My gravity crushes are for 0. Well, technically, if I activate them, it's for 2 for him. So that kind of hurt. Game 2, I was actually able to play a little bit. It was right down to the wire. If I have a BT21 Growlmon in my hand, I believe I just win. Because he choked me to 1 with Gazimon. I already had a Wisdom on the field and a Memory Boost. And I did have multiple Grav Crushes in my hand in the entire line. So if I have the Growlmon in my hand, I just promote, blow up the Gazi, and just win from there. Because I have Rush Guillaumon already in trash. He has 3 security. I'm swinging through that. Killing him, and I'm winning from there. Unfortunately, I had already had 3 of my Growlmons in the trash, 2 of which he hit out of security the previous turn, so I had no way to actually get them from like previous turns with my Gigimon, because with my playtesting with this matchup, I thought I'd see more purple hybrid, but I guess not a whole lot of people are on it. I still think it's an okay deck. I don't think it's definitely as strong as it was at full power. But in my playtesting with it, the Growlmon is extremely important because they play floodgates like Gazimon, which just completely turn off my memory gain. So, unfortunately, I just didn't see my pieces either game that I needed to win that, and I end up losing. So, guy was a pretty cool guy. Yeah, that's it.
Round 6, I sit down and my opponent is playing, it's not max rarity, but it is like alted out Royal Knights, which looks really pretty. Game 1 he opened slow, and I just killed him before anything really relevant happened on his side of the field. Game 2 he didn't open as slowly, but he didn't open like super awesome, and I was just poking him with Pyojimon going in Magna X. He ended up, over the course of the game, dropping 2 Oryukin aces on my Magnas, which is not a big deal for me if I have Partition, which I did underneath one of them. Under the first one, I had Partition, so I just went into another Pyojimon. The second one had a Dino Beam underneath it, unfortunately, but it got to a point where I established a third Magna X, and... No, I'm sorry. It wasn't even establishing a third Magna X. I passed turns setting up to where like I was going to be able to promote and go into Pyojimon and just like start swinging at him again. And he established a Jesmon, the blocker token, and I think an Omni X to pass turn. And I was like, cool. Promote. Go into Pyojimon and start swinging, and I was like,
stun your board.
Suspend all your stuff, stun your board, nice blockers. And I was like, dang, I only have access to 3 more memory here, and he only has 3 security. I need an extra memory to kill him, and because I had another Magna X in my hand, and I was like, I'm not afraid of his aces. If anything, he aces me, it's good for me if I have another Pyojimon in my hand, which I had all of them in my hand. I swing, and he goes, how big is he? After I unsuspend, and I was like, he's just 8k. And he's like, okay. And he GX'd, blew up my Pyojimon, and I was like, okay, cool, XP, Ligimon, yes. Yeah. DNA into another Pyojimon, go to 4 memory, swing twice, and then Evo into Magnex, swing 2 more times per game.
Because you gain the memory off the XV.
Off the XV, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you just handed me an extra memory to lethal him.
Yes. Yeah, he's only 8k. Yes,
he's just a little guy. Do your worst.
He's not big at all.
Yeah. There's no consequences to this.
Yeah, I can blow him up, therefore must blow him up. Yeah. I don't think he had any experience versus the matchup to really know that probably wasn't a good idea, unless he just was forcing me to have another level 5, right. which is fair. Like, if you think you're going to lose either way, I would also force me to have the other level 5 in my hand. Unfortunately for him, I drew all 4 of my Pyogermons that game.
Yeah.
So I ended up winning that 2-0.
So round 7, Brandon.
Yep, round 7. I played against Imperial. Normal Imperial with the normal top end, unlike Sean's variant. So game 1, he bricked. There was nothing he could do about that. I just had to kill him real fast so we could just get out of that game. Game 2, I literally just needed War Greymon to clinch the win. Again, same type of situation. I just didn't see it, so I couldn't Omni DNA for game. If I see that, I win. Game 3, I think he misplayed pretty heavily. He was a little trigger happy with his Fighter Mode Ace. He Fighter Mode Aced me to bottom deck one of my level 4s, the Secret Rare Greymon. And I think that was a massive misplay, because then it allowed me to set up the lock, because I used one of the new combos that this deck now has access to, because I pulled it out right here so you can see it for all you viewers out here. The Adventure Starter Deck Agumon, in combination with the EX Matt and Tai, is a guaranteed low memory, very low memory Omnimon. And I was able to, instead of Omni DNAing, I was obviously just going to go into the BT21 Melga and stun his board. And now that I also have Miraculous Mega Knight set up, because I Miraculoused out the Agumon, used Agumon's effect, played out the Gabumon, did the whole combo. Warp. Halo. Stunned his board, and then now he is promoting, and if he ever turns his card sideways, I ace, kill his Imperial Fighter Mode, and suddenly his turn's over. So I have an automatic turn steal, and if he doesn't do anything, I just do it during my turn and get extra memory for free anyway. So I think he was just a little too trigger happy with that. I don't know how that game goes if he doesn't do that. I think he has a much better chance to kill me, because he would have had his partitions. So if I would have done it, he could have punished me like Sean just did to his last opponent, where he's forced, because I had 0 security. So I'm forced to ace the moment he swings. And if I couldn't pull turn off of that because of the ace overflow, I think I just lose. Just right there on the spot.
Doesn't Omni have blocker?
He does. But if you DNA into a new Pyldra, guess what I can't do?
Why? You have more sources. He's only going to have 2.
Tell that to Ken.
Once you have
Davis and Kent.
If he saves,
so he had Davis and Kent on the field. See, I didn't have all the information.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah. So, but like, just because he was just a little too trigger happy with his ace, I think that really just cost him the match, just right there and then. So I was able to kill him, and yeah, fan of the channel though. So it was nice playing against you. I'm sorry your night wasn't particularly nice. I know he.
So
was
now Brand's 4-3.
Yeah, he was talking about how his deck was betraying him, and I know that feeling all too well.
Hey, it happens. Round 7. This is where I get back on the right track. I end up winning this round. I played against the mirror match. Really cool guy. He was also a fan of the channel. He actually didn't recognize that it was me until the end of the round. Until I actually started talking. He's like, hold on, I think I recognize your voice. He's like, are you on like a podcast or something like that? I explained, I told him, he said he was a big fan of us. I ended up winning 2-0 in the mirror. Again, like I said, the mirror match is completely 50-50. I think I just saw my pieces way faster than he did. It's also like who who first. Because normally they're coming out with their second one and they're answering them very quickly. So, yep, nothing crazy really happened here. Just got a 2-0. He struggled to see his pieces faster. I think Rivals Barrage came in handy a lot in that. That was another reason why I decided to play Rivals Barrage, because if I run into the mirror and they mill it, or I mill it, I just get that little bit more recursion that they potentially don't get, so... Yeah.
So round 7. Before as I sit down, I can like feel myself like hit the like mental fatigue wall,
the wall.
No.
Yeah, Ben had hit that like 3 rounds ago, but I hit mine when I sat down for round 7. And honestly, I kind of felt it when I sat down for round 6, but I didn't really have to think very hard in that matchup just because like I drew well enough to where there wasn't really any decisions that I had to make that were difficult. Ended up playing Digimon, which, you know, as expected. Game 1, I establish a Magna X after he chunks me. Never see Paladin mode. Guess where it's at? That's right, insecurity. He wins. Game 2, I ran him down before he had a chance to do anything. I just won that game. Game 3, I realized it after the fact, but game 3, I promoted a turn earlier than I should have because in my brain, I was like, I can out his stack, therefore I should out his stack, even though I'm not going to be able to go into a Magna X to pass turn. And he had a scramble on the field, and he outed my Digimon on his turn because he had a scramble, and he killed me before I got a chance to promote a second time. So if I just chill for a turn there and promote the turn after, I win that game because I had Paladin mode in my hand and Magna X. Like if I establish Magna X, he loses that game. But he ends up killing me he ends up killing me not his next turn, but the turn after, like the turn before I was going to promote again. And he said he drew all 4 Grav Crush. Like he only had to activate 2 of them because he had some fortunate security checks. Like, but it didn't end up mattering. But I'll go ahead and say it. He evos into a Growlix, swings with that, it survives. He hard plays a Gilmon, swings with that, it survives. He demonic disasters the Gilmon to unsuspend the Growlix and swing with that again. Yeah, and I was just like, okay, cool.
That was fun.
Yeah. He only had to activate 2 of the Grav Crushes, and but as I was leaving, he was like, I drew all 4. He was like, I had the other 2 in my hand. I was like,
You didn't have to tell me that.
I didn't bother me. We were having a good time.
Yeah.
So he ended up winning that 2-1.
Alright. So next we're on to round 8. Round 8, I played against another Galactimon player. Unfortunate for me, in neither game did I ever see BT21 Melga. So he was able to consistently pop every tamer I put on the board, even after I baited out one of them. So like I put out one of my cheap tamers that I didn't care about keeping. He popped it. I went, cool, sick. Here's my real tamer I've been holding in my hand. And then he just goes, all right, well, I have a second Destro. Kill it again. And I was like, all right. Cool, I guess. So he did admit he played 4 of them for that reason. The guy prior I played only played 3, which I think is correct to play 4. It's such a good level 5. Like the D-Evo of the other one's pretty cool, but in a tamer-based format like this, you could pop Cool Boys, you could pop the Adventure Tamers, you could pop the Analog Youths. Like, it's so good right now. So he does 2-0 me. I lose 0-2. Because when he gets the lead like that super early and he sets a Galacti with a Ragna and I have 0 tamers, it's just like, I guess I'll die. My up is BT21 Melga. Exactly BT21 Melga, but it's like, it's the best one. By far.
So round 8, I played against the deck I have never played against. Had never even heard of this deck, which is crazy because I do follow a lot of Digimon, not only YouTube channels, but like pages on Facebook. Never heard of this deck. It was a deck that I barely heard mention of from Brandon because he played it earlier. It was Bird Magidramon, which is extremely scary because I don't know if everyone doesn't know, Phoenix X turns all of your on deletion inheritables into end of attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So all they do is play the entire bottom end of Magidramon and then chunk you for big damage. Now, the difference with this deck also is they're playing Cool Boy. And Cool Boy in this matchup gives you so much free memory and draw power, and most of the time you're searching with Geo X or even digging further with Growl X. Now, of course, it will bottom deck some cards, but you're mostly picking up all your important pieces that you need, like the Phoenix X, for example. My opponent, also with the combo, you get to play Oriyumon for free, which, if everyone doesn't know, is the black-red level 6 Chronicle Digimon, because they can then DNA into Oryukenmon if they feel the need to.
They just have to kill you a little extra special.
Yeah, if they're just like, hey,
pay you.
Yes. So again, I had never seen this, so I had no idea how to play into it, because I was very confused because they hatched the red Gigimon, and I said, "Hold on, that's not the normal That's not the Gigimon that players play for Gallantmon or Megidra." I was like, "Why would they play this?" And then he hatched into the purple red BT21 Guilmon, and I'm like, Did this guy make it all the way here playing Megidramon without the promo Tama?
It's like, I can't afford the $40 price tag for this.
I was like, that's wild. And then he kept doing stuff, and I'm like, what am I playing against? What is this? He activated Cool Boy, and then revealed Phoenix. He revealed Phoenix X, and I like literally sat up, and I'm like, and then it clicked to me. I said, oh no. Oh, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Brandon warned me about.
You didn't even warn me about it. You just like I had only like slightly heard, like I played Bird Megidramon. I'm like, that's weird.
I think I had an in-depth conversation with either Sean or Ben, telling him about the deck. Like, yo, this thing's wild.
Yeah, because I had no idea, and I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, hold on. And then I see more of him playing the Megidramon line, and I'm like, this isn't good. This is not good at all. Promotes Protoform, and then goes into Phoenix X, and he swings. He survives, and he goes, all right, end of attack, gain 2 memory, trash your top security, and I'm like, oh.
Play the Oreo for free.
Oh no. And I'd also seen him off the same Cool Boy bottom deck Oryukenmon, and I'm like, oh no. I don't think there's any winning this. I don't think there's any way to come out of this like and stabilize before he's established his stuff.
The only thing you can do against that deck I have thought of is play a deck like Sean's, where you have a wall that he can't interact with.
Yeah.
Or you ace them on the swing, like against Megidra.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
So
it's not as punishing versus them as it is versus Megidra to ace them.
Yeah.
Because they don't care about their cards in trash.
Yeah. If they have the War Growl X, they can potentially like start popping off again, but it's not going to be nearly as pop-offable.
I don't even think they play War Growl X. They were playing Garudamons.
It depends. I've seen lists do both.
Yeah. I've seen this guy was playing the Adventure Garuda, the BT21 War Growl, and
Garuda
X. Level 5s. All the level 5 things were either X antibody or the Adventure Garuda. Because I know he had Garuda X and War, and then in one of the games he went into the Alliance one. That's how he killed me.
So anyways, I got absolutely destroyed. I was lost in the sauce. I had no idea what I was looking at. I had never play tested against this deck. I had never even heard about this deck except for small mention from Brandon earlier in the tournament. I didn't think anything of it until he revealed the Phoenix X and added it back. And I thought, oh no, all of his on deletions turned into end of attacks. And at this point, I knew I was in trouble. One, I opened way too slow both games. He opened up extremely fast, high rolled me like crazy. He never even had to go into Oryuken, but the opportunity was there both games for him to just do it. Yeah, so felt bad. I ended up losing that one as well, so now I'm 5-3.
So round 8, I sit down. Still feeling kind of over it. Like, obviously want to finish the event, but like I am tired and want to go get dinner and go back to the hotel.
it's at that point where it's like, you know, you're probably not getting a super high placement, and you're just crashing after.
Yeah, like
Sean still has a chance. He's only X2 at this point.
yeah, I'm X2 going in around 8. I have a chance of sneaking into top 16 depending on my breakers, but I'm like guaranteed top 32 if I went out. So I sit down. My opponent is playing Galaxy. Game 1, he kind of turbo high rolled me. Went into Mirage, went into Dudes. Like, I fought back a little bit, but he ended up taking it. Game 2, I high rolled him right back. He like went into a stack and went into like a Gallant X and did stuff, but then on my turn I like stripped all of his sources and he went into a Dino B that I got up to 13k and swung over. Then he went into Magnex and he lost from there. And then game 3, the exact way I lost versus the previous opponent happened again. He went into Mirage, which was annoying for me because like most of my effects draw cards. But he stuck a Lunamon on the field next to it, and I was like, oh, I can promote and swing over this Lunamon on my turn. I'm going to be passing turn on the swing, but I can out that body, even though I still had like 4 security. There's like no way he can kill me on his turn. Well, that's not true. He potentially, because he swings 2 times. No, there's like no way he can kill me, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, it would be very specific. He would have to have the Galgamon in hand and Omni X in order to potentially kill me. Which maybe he had it and maybe my misplay didn't matter, but I should not have promoted. I should have forced him to have it, choked him to 1, and set up to promote and then pop off, go into Pyojimon, then Magnex and do stuff. But because I promoted, I swung over his Lunamon. Past turn, I don't think I had a chance to promote again. I'm pretty sure he killed me before I promoted a second time. So I ended up losing that match 2-1.
Yikes.
Or 1-2.
So now we're going to the final round, round 9. I played against my 3rd Megidra, and I got that one 2-1. So the end of the event, so I think everybody at this point's brains are a little fried, because I think if I'm playing against somebody who's a little more confident or like maybe doesn't misplay as much, I just lose more than likely.
Hold on, Brandon. Explain what happened. Yeah, explain what happened.
Yeah, you had a judge call.
Yeah. So game 1, he's doing his little pop off play. He clears his board, swings with his Rush Geo, and it dies, and then he attempts to activate Gravity Crush, and I was like, you don't have any cards on the board. And he was like, oh, but I have a Scramble. And I was like, option cards don't count for your color requirements, it's just Digimon and Tamer. Yeah, I don't know, I don't think that's how that works. And I'm like, would you like to call a judge? He's like, yeah, okay, so we call a judge, and of course the judge sorts that out, so he has to basically pass turn without doing anything. I think
imagine that judge sided with him,
bro.
You just appeal that, but I would hope that none of those judges
imagine that would have happened.
That's a very simple thing that most judges should know, or all judges should know.
I'd be so mad. I'd be like, you are wrong. I want the head judge over here, please.
You say the judges should catch stuff, but we have a good few examples where something wasn't caught.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that.
We'll have to talk about that, yeah. So, obviously that gets sorted. He ends up like playing a Geo to search, and I just kill him on the next turn. The next game, his Wombo combo actually pops off, and he is able to kill me. Sag. Then game 3, he misplays like 2 or 3 times. So, first things first, when his Megidra died, he had Growlexed as well. So he played 2 bodies out. One of them did not have Rush. One of them did have Rush. So he swings with the one with Rush, checks the security, it dies, and then he goes, alright, cool, hard play Gallantmon for a reduced cost, because we have enough cards in security. Or in trash, I mean. I was like, you can't play that one. It requires no bodies on the board. He goes, oh yeah, normally I probably would have been like rule shark about it, but he physically didn't have the memory to play it to begin with. So he couldn't have done it legally either way.
You say it was the BT13 or the promo?
13.
Okay.
So he tries that one. Because the first misplay is by playing 2 bodies off of his Megidra and his Growlix.
Yeah.
If he only played 1, he wins.
Yeah, he doesn't know that though. Hindsight, like, is like, I agree. Like, you already need both to die. You might as well lessen those chances all you can by only playing 1 out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he had an option in his hand that could have killed it, but maybe that was the next turn or something. I can't remember.
The only one.
The Geo survived. The Geo survived. The Rush Geo survived, and he didn't have another Rush Geo. It was the Search Geo, and he tried to play the Gallant, and I was like, oh, you can't. You have too many bodies on the board.
Oh yeah.
Because then I countered him by going into BT15 Melga and stunning the 2. So he couldn't do it anyway, no matter what. He had to start all over because he had nothing in his breeding area. So he had to hatch and start all over with 2 stunned bodies. That's how I got him. Then, as I'm setting up for game, he tries to hard play. This might have been actually in an earlier game. He had also tried to hard play promo Gallant when neither of us had anything on the board.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't. And again, it was the same situation where there was no feasible way he could pay the memory to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's an illegal action, so he couldn't actually attempt to do this. So I couldn't rule shark him and make him pay full memory. Instead, he has to try to do something else entirely. But again, he tried to hard play both Gallant Mons illegally, and he tried to activate Gravity Crush 2 or 3 times when either he had board or only purple on the board. There was a couple situations where I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. So I feel like if I'm playing against anybody who was either knows the deck religiously, like somebody who's been playing it a lot, like Chris, or even he still tries to do it sometimes, a sneaky bugger, or somebody higher.
You've had to do it for
somebody at one of the higher tables. I think I just lose.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess Brandon's done.
All right, bye, Brent. That was his last round, anyways. He did finish positive 5-4, so good way to end out the tournament. I end up playing against another Bird Megidramon. Unfortunately, this being the final round, I was hoping to just go out on a win. Just finish positive, go out. There's no way for me to finish negative at this point. No matter what happens, I'll finish 5-4 at least, and at least have a positive record, a winning record. As soon as I sat down, I could tell right away. Me and this guy would not vibe. We did not have good energy together. Nothing against that guy. That's just probably how he is. I just don't vibe with the kind of energy he was putting out. Anyways, he's playing Bird Megidramon. He is playing his deck. He wins game 1 pretty fast. I opened extremely slow, not very well. And then game 2, he started laughing hysterically at his hand and said out loud, "This is interesting. If this works, I've won." And I'm like, okay, man, cool. We start. I go first. I hatch. Digivolve. Pass him to 2. He goes, "Hey, watch this." Hatches his Tama, rips the top card off his deck, and slams it. Not just sets it on the Tama. Hard slams it onto the Tama. It is a level 3. He starts losing it, and then proceeded to kill me on the next turn. After that turn, yeah, he sets up 2 cool boys, promotes the next turn, and killed me. It was ridiculous, very fast. It was very upsetting because, again, the energy this guy was putting out, just not my kind of energy. It was very positive, but negative all at the same time. I hatch Gigimon, and he's complaining because he's like, "Oh, how many Grav Crushes you got?" Yet on his turn, he drops 3 or 4 Gravity Crushes. Buddy, you're playing the same thing. Yeah, so anyways, was extremely upsetting. I wouldn't have minded just like losing the final round if it was to someone way more chill. But unfortunately, it kind of soured my last round, and I was like, "All right, I'm ready to go." Like this completely ruined it for me. Like everyone I played up until this point was totally cool, very chill, awesome. Like, hey, we all said good luck to each other the rest of the tournament, fist bumps, everything. This guy just, I was like, I literally packed up my stuff and walked away so fast. I was like, I can't be around this guy. We do not vibe at all.
We do not vibe.
So. And sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
So I ended up finishing X4. I did get a higher placing than Brandon, so that was my third goal.
That's what
Just
counts.
place higher than Brandon. I started the tournament 4-0, actually played against real players, and then started losing.
Wow.
Brandon started off 2-0, started losing, and then played against bums.
Bums.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I finished higher than Brandon and Ben. So I'll take it.
Yeah. You and your tier 1 deck got the same placement as me and my for fun deck.
Freaking birds, man. Freaking birds, man.
Yeah, they got us both, dude. They got us both.
I want to know who discovered that. Who was the first person to put that together?
It's funny that you guys both ran into it, because I had thought that I had talked to you guys about this, but Robbie had played against it on the DCGO sim like a week or so ago. And he'd played against it like multiple times, like just random people were playing him, and he was like, "Have you heard of this?" And he was talking to me about it, and sent me like a rough draft based on like what he had saw, and I had messed around with it, but I was like, this feels kind of clunky. I feel like pure Digimon is probably more consistent. Like, yeah, your high rolls are going to be like ridiculous, but
yeah,
playing that in a 9-round event, like there's a reason you guys were playing them in the later rounds where you
right. It is obviously very inconsistent and clunky. But if they high roll you, they high roll you, because you're getting all your on deletions as end of attacks, and then say the Digimon does die, then you get all their on deletions. So that's even more crazy. Because I think Phoenix X is 13,000 DP, correct?
I believe so, yes.
So just like imagine you, this never happened to me, but this is like the kind of stuff I was thinking.
On the Phoenix X.
You promo gallon it, and then like, because you're getting the end of attack, you're trashing a security, you're gaining 2 memory off the attack, and if you have a body and they have Geo X or Growl X under it, that's more memory you're gaining.
Yeah.
So, and then say you promo gallon, you blow up your stack, you're getting 2 more memory back, you're trashing another one of their security. Like, this was all the stuff I was thinking about. I was like, this deck is wild. Like, it is very crazy. And we've always said, like, the top end for like the bird card are very good. It just always has that like lack of consistency.
It's a red deck
that birds come with. But like, if they could find like a good engine to go in, kind of like with Galaxy. Yeah. Galaxy's top end was always like the weak part of it, but its engine itself was really good. So people just started splashing in really good level 6s in it. And it just brought the deck up even higher. I feel like this is the same thing with this, where the top end of birds found an engine that works with it. It's not as consistent or like crazy as like something like Galaxy, where you're drawing a bunch of cards consistently, you're gaining back a bunch of memory. But if you see your pieces, you're popping off. Like, you're absolutely popping off. It seemed like a very fun deck. I'm done with Digimon after this weekend. I've played it for multiple weeks, like probably the longest I've ever played with a deck, because again, I was getting ready for this weekend, so I'm ready to move on. I play a new deck and just have fun again.
So round 9, I sit down. My opponent is a fan of the channel. He was telling me like he loved Galaxy Dragons, and I can't remember if he straight up said it or he just strongly implied that like that's literally what he was playing because he liked it so much. It was what he was playing. He was playing Galaxy Dragons. Super nice guy. That is actually a bad matchup for me, because both floodgate effects can lock me out of the game because of how my deck plays.
They do poop on you.
Yeah, if they start looping the floodgate dragons, I have to just Evo into a 5 in the back and then promote an Evo into Magnax, which I know now that's what I'm supposed to do, but Fun fact, the entire reason I started playing Galaxy Dragons is because I was playing Magna X DNA like several months ago and played against a Galaxy Dragon player, and they locked me out of the game, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Stop! I want to play.
Yeah. I was like, are you telling me you keep your opponent from playing the game? Yo, let me see that. I obviously tweaked
That's
it to my
Sean's
liking.
bread and butter.
Yeah, I tweaked it to my liking, but that is the reason why I played Galaxy Dragons in the first place, because I played against it with Magnex and I just got 2-0'd like real hard. He did not have the same kind of luck. He basically low rolled into high rolls for me. He promoted once each game, and if that tells you how that match went, the match was over very quickly. He did some stuff a little bit, but nothing that I never felt like, oh my god, like he might kill me on his next turn if I don't do something. It was just like, I got plenty of time, I'm gonna promote and do this stuff, and then whatever. So I ended up 2-0ing him. I don't think a single dragon actually touched the board. Like, I think the only megas he put on the board were Apollomon once and Dinomon once. And I think that was it. Like, his hands were definitely not optimal at all. Like,
right.
He hard played a Garudamon for, I believe, no value. I don't remember. I don't think he played the tamer off of it. He just did that so he can evo into Dinomon to try to like pop one of my guys. But like, because he did that, I had a Kenan Davis on the field, and it gave me extra memory the next turn because I stripped the Garudamon, and then I swung over his Dinomon with a Magnex with Dino B underneath it. So I just trashed the security and then swung again. Yeah, it was unfortunate for him. I just high rolled into his low rolls and won that 2-0. Ended up coming in 40th place with Magna X. All three of my losses finished higher than me. One loss was top 8, one loss was top 16, and the Digimon player I lost to unfortunately bubbled top 32 and got 33rd.
Oh, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 of the people I lost to both finished in top 16.
Yeah, the hero player I lost to was the person who got top 8.
Yeah, one of which was like top 6 or something like that. So
yeah,
overall, really fun weekend. After the tournament, we decided to go get barbecue. Again, Dallas traffic is awful. Why does everything? Why does everything in Texas close?
Yeah,
before 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
on a Saturday.
We were looking at restaurants after the last round because we were gonna be sitting there for like another 30 minutes while they like figured out like the placings and stuff. And all the restaurants we wanted to go to closed at like 8 or 9, and we weren't gonna leave the venue until like 8:30.
Yeah. Why? What's going on?
Yeah. What are you guys doing? Yeah, it's Saturday night. And
so we eventually find a place that's about 9 miles away. It's going to take us about 20 minutes to get there.
They closes at 10, so we'll have enough time to get there and eat. But still, like, it's Saturday night. Why is this place closed at 10?
Yeah, because we all wanted to eat barbecue in Texas because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's all the way in downtown traffic,
downtown Dallas.
Some of the worst drivers I've ever seen in my entire life.
The worst
live in Texas.
They would rather run you off the road than implement the zipper technique on like exits and entrances.
Ben got on an on-ramp on the interstate.
Yeah, you're good.
And then no. He never was able to merge on and just had to get off on the next exit without even switching lanes, and he just had to try again on the next on-ramp.
So Sean almost killed us.
Were just not letting us in.
I did unfortunately almost kill us. Ben was trying to take an exit, and the cars were not being nice, and like they were trying to like zoom past him. And after the first one went, Ben was like, I don't think I can get over it. And I had my head turned here, and I was like, nah, you're good. And he was like, I'm really not. And all of a sudden a car zooms by us that would have
going like 20 to 30 faster than us.
Yeah, like way faster. Like, in my defense, I could not see them because they were going so quickly. But yeah, we would have gotten into a wreck if he would have listened to me. And I was also like, I had my head like turned like this, so like I was also obscuring his vision. So I'm very fortunate that Ben was like, I'm not good, because we would have gotten into a wreck immediately.
So we did eventually make it to Terry Black's barbecue.
Yes, Terry Black's barbecue.
Very high rating. It was like a 4.7. We were like very excited for it. They had the big old smokers in the back. Those were really cool. We have never been here before. We had no idea how this place worked.
Such a weird setup, dude.
It's set up like a cafeteria.
Like a school.
You're supposed to get a tray.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get a tray and then go down the line telling them what you want and then pay at the end. But there's one sign that explains it to you very poorly.
Yeah, it's not a good enough explanation. And it's like, it's so weird because like you get your sides and dessert first, and then you go get your meat, and like it.
And thank the manager guy who because we didn't know that. I was just we were all gonna get sandwich combos, which now in the end we know we shouldn't have gotten.
They had free unlimited bread in the dining area that we were unaware of, so we could have just gotten meat and made sandwiches ourselves.
Yes, so we all decided we're gonna get the sandwich combos, and I just assumed I could order that up there, and with my side I was gonna get mac and cheese. No, you're supposed to order that first, get it on a tray like Brandon said, and then go order your meat. Thankfully, I get to the front of the line, and this manager guy,
he could tell we were lost because we weren't. We were standing there going to get our meat with no trays in our hand. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah,
we were clearly tourists.
Yeah,
he literally talks to me, and he goes, "What are you trying to get, boss?" And I'm like, "Listen, man, we are from Florida. This is our first time here. We have no idea what we're doing." He was like, "I got you. You want a side or something like that?" I was like, "I was gonna get mac and cheese." He's like, "All right, I got you." And he got us all situated. He got us on the right register. He was like, "Hey, this is what blah blah blah," and he got us all set up.
Yeah.
Now, in the end, we do know now we should have just ordered and split the pound.
You should have got it like a pound of meat and just split it.
Yeah, because the sandwiches were very good, but then we all turn around and see free bread.
Yeah.
Could have just made our own sandwiches. The mac and cheese was very good. I don't know how Ben's peach cobbler was. He said it was okay.
He said it wasn't that good. He said it was disappointing.
Okay. It looked good. That's unfortunate that he said it did not turn out to be good.
There wasn't a lot of cobbler in it. It was peach cobbler, but like the ratio was like mostly peach, and I don't like that kind of peach cobbler either, so I don't blame him for not liking it.
Yeah, other than that, the brisket itself was very good, very tender, very juicy.
Yes.
Barbecue sauce was extremely good. Some would say it was drinkable. Some
would then go on to put it in their cup and proceed to drink it as if it were drinkable, not saying names.
We will not say any names. We will leave it to the comment section. You can comment down who you believe would do that.
You're pointing at Chris.
Yeah. It was very good. I thought it was worth it. It was very expensive based on how much we all paid. We now know if we just ever happen to be in Texas again,
we would have eaten there a lot cheaper and had more food, probably.
Yes, for sure. We definitely would have had more brisket because Ben eats like a small mammal. He gets like he gets one bite in, and he's like, "Yeah, that was good. I'm done." And it's like, "What?
I haven't seen you eat anything all day. What are you talking about?"
He ate those nachos after round 6. He scarfed down some nachos.
I don't care what he said. Sean, back me up. He only ate half that waffle, if that.
I did not walk over and look at the plate, but from a distance, it looked like he only ate like a quarter of it, maybe a third.
That's what I'm saying. He did not eat all that waffle.
He insists he ate over half of it, but from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Yes. So the barbecue is very good. We go back to the hotel, and then
hold on. I want to explain the barbecue sauce situation. So,
what about it?
They have sweet barbecue sauce. They have like regular, hot, and sweet. I love sweet barbecue. That's my favorite. Our brisket sandwiches are delicious. I'm literally just squirting on the sweet barbecue sauce on every single bite and then taking it.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I run out of food before I run out of a craving for the barbecue sauce. And this is before we discovered the unlimited free bread. And I was like, I really want to get some more of this barbecue sauce. So I finished off my drink. And if we weren't in like the middle of basically a mess hall to where like 100 people would have looked and saw what I was doing, I would have just turned the bottle up and squirted it into my mouth. But I was like, whatever, this is pretty this is pretty inconspicuous. So I just squirted it into my cup and just drank it. And Brandon looks at me And he's like, did you just do what I think you did? And I was like, yeah. And I just squirted more into my cup and drank some more. I did get my fill. I didn't drink a lot of it, but I drank. Yeah. I drank a little bit just to get my fill. And then after that, we discovered the bread, which if I had known about it, I would have gotten some bread and just like squirted on the bread and ate that. But I was like, I want to get some more of this barbecue sauce, and this is my only chance. So just putting that out there.
Very good. Very delicious.
It was amazing.
Yep.
So we go back to the hotel.
Go to bed. Wake up the next morning.
We thought they had we thought they had deactivated our room keys because we both go into we go to our rooms and the new key worked, and we're like, what the hell? Why would they turn our keys off? We later realized what most likely happened is I didn't even realize we did. We went through a metal detector when we went into the venue, and I'm pretty sure that wiped our keys. So that's what happened. Because we were like, what the hell is up with this hotel? Like, why would they just deactivate our keys during the day?
Dude, I was so worried. I was like, oh my god, Ben messed up. He didn't pay for 2 nights. I was like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go to bed. We wake up. Then we hit the road. We go to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Love Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah, we went to Buc-ee's twice. Once on the way here. Once on the way back.
I'm still of the opinion it's a little overrated.
That's just like
you're probably the only person in the whole world who thinks that breakfast burrito.
So
10 out of
good.
10.
Yeah.
Even that croissant sandwich that was only $4.49, Brandon.
$4.49.
Yeah. Amazing.
I
didn't even have one, but I saw you and Sean both eat one. I'm like, hey, that looked awesome. I would love to get one of those.
It was good. It wasn't better than the burrito, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, people act like it's the second coming of the convenience store heaven, but it's like...
It is the greatest gas station of all time.
Yeah, their food is delicious, man. Like...
Have you been in their bathrooms? Cleanest bathrooms of all time.
Yeah, I went in there and peed on the floor right in front of the attendant.
Well, he makes $20 an hour to clean it up, so he probably didn't care.
Yeah.
He's probably like, hey, keeping me busy for the day.
Yeah, it's like, cool, I'm not going to be bored for the next hour, thank you.
Oh man, this stuff smells. What do you drink? I don't like you commentating on my pee.
So a quick thing, Brandon had mentioned it earlier. I believe it was round 3 where Sean's opponent didn't show up, and we all kind of finished early. We decided to all go watch.
I literally
stream.
Yeah, I had nothing to do because literally everyone was still playing, and so I just went and stood over to the stream and was just watching them play. And I showed up like halfway through game 1.
So we were all watching. It turned out to be Dan Vang playing Imperial versus Hunter. I'm sorry, Hunter, I don't know your last name. I just know Dan. I think a lot of people just know Dan at this point. Just his post on Facebook and whatever. I'm actually friends with Dan. I didn't even realize that he liked my picture that we all took and I use as my profile picture now. He liked it. I was like, oh yeah, crap, I'm friends with Dan. So anyways, yeah, we're watching it, and it gets to game 3. It's pretty back and forth. Dan's playing Imperial.
Good.
And then Hunter was playing Numemon, which was pretty crazy seeing that this late. It actually inspired me. I got home last night, and I have the deck built already. I'm like, hey.
Based on what we saw, we theorized what he most likely were playing and just kind of tweaked it.
Yeah. So I've already got that built. We did run into a couple situations. I'm not sure because Sean records at obviously a lot of games for his channel at our store when we play. So I'm not gonna say I'm fully used to just like having my gameplay on the channel, like being recorded and stuff. Like it still can be like a little bit more pressure because you're like, if I mess up here, it's gonna end up on the channel and you're gonna get like people are gonna say stuff. So maybe they were both a little uncomfortable, but
there's a decent chance they were both nervous.
Yeah, I mean, even the judge calls.
Because, I don't have that problem because Sean just doesn't post my gameplay.
That's fair. So but the thing is, like some of the judge calls were really.
There weren't calls. There are no calls. The judges, they are both playing across from each other. The judges are sitting right next to them, staring at their mats. They each have one judge staring at their mat.
Yeah, it was weird because it happened in game 3. right? Almost all the egregious, not egregious, but all of the non-call stuff happened in like game 3.
Game 3, and this was like basically like I think Dan would probably agree. He threw
Yes.
game 3, which he wasn't in a good spot to begin with, but he basically handed him the game. Because
we can't hear what's going on because
Yeah.
we're watching it on the stream at the venue.
Yeah, there's no sound.
vo-
We
there's
can't
vo-
hear
there's no
Digipanda
sound.
or Risu talking. We're just
Yeah,
we
so
can't see chat.
We have no idea what's being said. So go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, so Dan is not in a good position. There's no guarantee he would have won anyway, but he basically just handed the game to him because he was going to Evo into a Hexablow to keep his opponent from being able to lethal him on his turn, because he had like, I think a Valk on the field, a Gallant X with a Protoform underneath it, and like 2 other bodies, and Dan only had like 3 security left. So he's going to Evo into a Hexablow, and I'm like, oh, that's great. He strips all of the Gallant X's sources because he's passing turn with it, and
now nothing can attack.
Yeah, nothing's going to be able to suspend on his opponent's turn. He's going to be able to buy himself some time here. Instead, I think he just like blindered because he HPDs into the Hexablow, and because he did that, he doesn't pass turn and can't then affect the Gallant X. And he goes and targets the Gallant X's sources, and
it almost goes through.
It almost goes through. One of the judges actually catches it before they actually hit the trash, but he's like targeting the sources, and they're like pulling him out and stuff. And then they catch it, and he's like, "Oh, you can't." The judges actually let him retarget the sources and target it up,
again is crazy.
Yeah, which again is surprising because those are valid targets for Hexablow's source strip. It's not like a targeting resolution thing. It's like, hey, I'm targeting these for stripping. If it's immune, it just doesn't do anything.
Gallant X goes, no.
No, you
It's
did
not
not
like
pass turn.
my opponent trying to play the Gallant when he physically couldn't. This is, hey, I'm targeting a valid target.
He legally
it just does nothing.
Yeah, it just does nothing.
Which again, wild take back because then he strips the Valk X sources and one of the other Digimon sources.
The other sources didn't matter. Like, it didn't really matter that they let him retarget the sources, but it was interesting that they let him do it. But not only did it not pass turn, but it suspended his Hexablow, and his Hexablow only has 2 sources underneath it. And he does something else to pass turn, and
Gallant has
like
Proto.
Gallant has 3 sources in it, including the Protoform. So Gallant can suspend.
Is it 3? I thought it was 4.
It was more than the Hexablow.
Okay, right. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. It had more than Hexablow. So, because Dan did that, I think his opponent started with like 3 memory or something like that. Because Dan did that, his opponent literally has like a guaranteed lethal line. If he just swings into the Hexablow, minus his 4k to it, and minus his 4k to his opponent's security, or not his security, but plus his 4k to himself.
Yes.
Unless Dan is playing specifically Gabu Bond, which we had not seen. This is game 3. We had not seen at any point. All we've seen is BT16 fighter mode and paladin mode. That's it.
Yes.
Even paladin mode there does not save him because he's still bigger than the paladin mode, runs it over, gets an extra 5 memory, still trashes security and unsuspends, and then swings out for lethal because his stuff isn't affected by Hexablow anymore. So
yeah, we're all like screaming, just swing over.
It's guaranteed lethal because if he swings into it, he has more sources, and Hexablow just dies because it's Ice Clad, and then he unsuspends, trashes security. He can swing again with Gallant X for another check, and then swing out with the it's a guaranteed lethal line.
Yeah, Valk's on the board too. You know, like everything's there.
Yeah, like, and he doesn't have to swing with Valk and risk it dying to security check because he has enough swings where Valk can be like for lethal. He ends up not doing that, and he did something else, and he passed turn back.
He plays like a Monzimon and like tucks on the gains to memory or something.
This was I believe this was the turn.
No, it's the following turn that he medieval.
Oh, okay, you're right.
It's one more turn because he has like way more bodies when he does the medieval play.
Yeah, you're right. So he passes back to Dan. Dan hatches and sets up for the next turn, but he can't swing because he risks just the Hexablow dying, and then he just loses because his opponent has like Giga Lethal on his field. So he passes turn back to his Numemon opponent, and you can do you want to talk about?
He attempts to medieval by suspending 2 of his Digimon and playing the medieval for 7 to then attempt to blow up the Hexplow. Now, what's the issue here?
I'm pretty sure this was that turn. I think this was that turn.
You think so? You think it's the same turn?
Because his Digimon were still suspended. That's why he would have had to. He only had one other option. He would have had to suspend the Gallon X.
All right, maybe you're right
fair.
then.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because he did have 2 legal targets to suspend the medieval, but they had him suspend 2 targets that were not allowed to suspend because Hexplow is on the field, and they do not have the correct amount of sources.
Yeah, he medievaled using his own stuff that could not suspend due to Hexplow's effect to reduce it by.
Hexplow just says Digimon with less
they cannot suspend
sources cannot suspend at all.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the judge never caught that. He did that to blow up the Hexablow. He did pass turn. Dan couldn't establish enough to win. I think the game actually goes for like a few more turns.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 more turns.
I ended up going to the bathroom because I was like, I don't see how Dan gets out of this. I have to pee really bad. I'm going to the bathroom. I came back. It's still going on. But the Numon player did
finally hit turns.
Yeah, the Numon player did end up winning. But yeah, it was just an interesting
match. Yeah, crazy how you could have 2 judges sitting there and neither of them catch the medieval specifically.
It was very surprising. I can understand how you would miss it.
It's just weird because they caught the Gallon X, but then they missed the medieval.
They caught the Gallon X. The medieval popped the Hexablow and immediately got up the field, so I don't know if maybe that was impacting them realizing that Hexablow would have kept the guy from suspending his Numemon or whatever. Ultimately, it didn't matter. He had Gallon X as a valid target to suspend, and he could have done that. Or he could have just given Dan 10 memory, and I still don't think it matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just surprising the judges didn't catch that. But yeah, that was an interesting match that we got to watch.
Very interesting indeed. Made me want to build Numemon, so I rebuilt it. He also was extremely lucky. He saw
Numa X all 3 games.
Yep, bring it back. I don't know why it's hit. Come on, Bandai, you cowards. You already hit the Ukos and the Louis.
You're not getting Uko back, dog.
Yeah. No, Uko's fine.
I'm sorry, you're not getting Numa X back.
Yeah, well, Sean messaged me last night, and I sent a picture of the screen, the deck. He goes, "Just play 2 Louis."
I don't know how the 2 got in there. I either tried to say or just play Louis, and somehow Messenger just added the number 2 in there, and I was like, because you said I can't play 2 Louis, and I was like, who said anything about 2? And I looked at my message, I was like, why the hell is there 2 in here?
What do you mean?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, exactly. Did you already have a Louis in there?
Yeah, overall fun weekend. Very fun experience. Mm-hmm. Got to meet a lot of nice people. I don't think I'll ever go back because of the traffic. And if I do, I'm going to stay on the outskirts.
Traffic was so bad, dude.
We should have just done what we were supposed to do.
And
stayed at the hotel in the convention center. Yeah.
I don't know how people live there
to book our rooms. Yeah, I could not live there and commute in that traffic every day. Like, that is unbelievable that people are able to do that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It also didn't help that Ben's navigation in his car, she started being like a real pain and wasn't getting us to the spots, or was telling us way too late when to turn or get off exits. She was all kind of confuzzled.
Yeah, I don't know what navigation system his car uses, but it's not even updated, because on the way home we were on a relatively new road that it was at least a year old, because I remember driving on the way back from Dallas last year. His navigation system was not aware the road existed, and as we were going down that road, it was freaking out trying to figure out where we were at. So yeah,
that was fun. So
it was a good time. I'm thankful that Ben was driving and I was not, because that was awful.
Yes, I agree. I would have lost it. Yeah, let us know on this episode in the comments if you guys also decided to make the trek up there, and how you guys did and what you played.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what got second? I know Juan got first with Adventure, and Virus Imperial got third. I'm
Lord
not sure
Nightmon
what got
X.
second. That's right. I talked about that earlier. Donkey.
I was like, didn't you tell me?
Yeah. Donkey got second with Lord Nightmon X.
Yeah. Represent.
Which just shows the deck. That deck is glass cannon too.
It's a glass cannon, but it can and will kill you.
Yes.
All right, comic questions. Ethan Markle, it's not a leak when Bandai are just revealing the cards. I guess we use the word leak sometimes. I'm not really sure.
It's a leak.
I mean, technically they are leaking it. I think it is still a leak, even if they're doing it.
Well, sometimes it's not directly from them, like through the page. Sometimes it's like shown in jump scans that get revealed too soon.
Yeah.
That's a leak.
Either way. Dr. Fab 671, new Alter S looks very fun. Now it can be an OTK deck? Bounce up into Alter S, swing 2 checks, drop the Blitz and Krause DNA again, then Alter B for game. And it's not an adventure with the black option. It spits out 3 dudes who can have rush and swing. Both versions are safe in aces and maybe security bombs if the translation error is true. Gonna be a fun time. Yes, it is if you have the right cards in your hand, it is a guaranteed lethal setup that there is nothing your opponent can do about.
Yep. Besides, and like if you're playing the adventure bottom end, you can lethal them through 5 security. I think with only 2 Alter S's in hand. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be kind of nasty. Hopefully it works in regular Alter S. Christian Chavaria45, do you have this podcast on Spotify? No, I still need to do that. Thank you for reminding me.
Damn it, Sean.
It is currently still just on YouTube. My bad. Benjamin Wiseman 6567, the new Analog Man isn't as useful as he seems. You're only triggering his effect once or twice per game. The BT11 Analog Man is still better for the deck, not only for the redirect, but because he directly helps with assembly. That's true.
Yeah.
Spencer WizKid, thank you for being Spencer 13 WizKid, thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate the Brandon Digimon lore bits. I love how on the nose some card effects are with how they played out in the stories. Agreed.
Yep.
We were talking about it on the way there, really cool
actually. I like how they incorporate lore into the card design. That's really
cool. Sometimes it's to the card's detriment because like it makes the card worse, but sometimes it actually makes it harder. Bad. Yeah. But it is cool that they like try their best to like implement how they kind of did stuff in the show.
Right, like it goes all the way back to even the first set with Omni and Diaboromon, where Diaboromon clearly spat out a bunch of tokens, which again from the movie, he copies himself a million times, and then Omnimon just wipes all of them.
Yeah.
In the original set, Omnimon said delete all Digimon on your opponent's board with the same name, correct?
Yeah.
So it was a direct counter to Diaboromon. Even from the get-go in the first set, they were doing that.
Yeah, and like the secret Beals warped on top of Entmon, and that was like one of the only warp Digivolves.
Because of the show where he goes immediately from Entmon to Beelzemon.
Yeah, it's really cool how they do that. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Random Mexican 123. Super rare tier list next. Great vid as always, and good luck on the regional, guys. Thank you.
So we talked about this. We talked about this.
We discussed this and crunched the numbers.
That is
so many supers.
That is over 300 super rares.
Yeah, unfortunately, we will not be doing a super rare tier list because there are over 300. That would be like an 8-hour long video.
Some of you fiends might think awesome. Some of us who do it think no.
Yeah.
Or you would get extremely bored with us going 1, 2. There would be no discussion.
We would hit a point where we're just like, 2, yeah, this is where this goes. This is where this goes. This
5,
is where this goes.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah. It would not be a good time. Goatboy TM4676, you uploaded on my birthday. Let's go. Give me your hottest Digimon takes.
I think it's so ridiculous that we don't have a side deck.
Agreed.
That one's pretty ridiculous.
Especially when you go to the app and when you're building your deck for these events, it says
side deck.
Option.
Side deck and Tamas.
Yep. Maybe one day, dude. Maybe one day. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that is my number one complaint to this day. That is all I really have a complaint about is I want us to have side decks. I would be fine if it were just 5 cards, but I want the ability to side deck. And the other thing isn't the biggest of deals. However, if like they were like, hey, how would you change the game? It would be side decks. And this other thing is if you win the die roll, you can choose to go first or second.
Oh yes, agreed. That's also crazy.
Sean, I know another one that this channel is famous for. Security Control is not a bad deck. You guys just kind of suck.
Yeah, it's not an overpowered Goliath that it's unbeatable. You just don't know how to approach the matchup. Yeah,
Number four, Mother Shoto isn't the problem. You are.
That is also true.
Garu isn't the problem. Where Garu come back.
I hope this guy listens to the channel. He needs to tell us where he got that map from and like who designed it for him. That was the
Megidra player I lost to. Yes, he had an awesome mat that Chris told me about after like round 2 or 3, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds sick." And then I sat down in front of him, and I looked up and looked at his mat, and I was like, "Oh, that's the mat Chris was telling me about."
It's literally Shoto doing the Iron Man pose with Mother behind him, like looming over, and it said extra what?
It said extend hand.
Extend hand. And Sean goes, "Oh, he's doing the Iron Man pose," and he goes, "I never even thought of that. I guess he kind of is, right? With the Jericho missile."
Iron Man 1, when he stands like this and spreads his arms, and the Jericho missiles explode on the mountains behind him. Like that's what it looks like. And Shoto is like not Shoto, but Mother is the Jericho missiles.
Yeah, that was really awesome. I need to know where he got that mat. I would love one.
He for sure got it custom made.
Oh, for sure.
Because he even mentioned potentially getting different words instead of extend hand.
Yeah, he thought what, like blocker or something like that?
He said something like that. I couldn't remember exactly what he said he was thinking about doing, but he landed on that. And he also said he got it made before the paraban as well.
Yes. So unfortunate.
I said it'll come back.
Yeah, hopefully.
It'll come back, dude. Justin So 8231. If you like Power Rangers, y'all would love Kamen Rider.
I always hear that.
Kamen Rider's crazy. I've seen a couple. I don't know why my TikTok's been on this algorithm kick where I'm getting a lot of Power Rangers, and because I'm getting a lot of Power Rangers, I'm getting a lot of Kamen Rider stuff. And Kamen Rider is also absolutely bananas and darker than Power Rangers.
Well, I mean, in general, Super
not
Sentai
always
is
darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Sentai is darker just by being a Japanese kid show.
Yeah. He also said best podcast ever, not just Digimon, but general nerd discussions. Thank you.
Hell yeah, thank you.
He also said, why are Yu-Gi-Oh cards so small? They use Japanese Dragon Shield sleeves, but other Japanese card games use standard Dragon Shield sleeves. Yu-Gi-Oh has small cards and lots of text. Bad combination. Yeah, their cards are Japanese sized. Like, whenever they brought the game over to America, they did not change the size of the cards.
Which is crazy, because you would think when it came to America, they'd go, make it bigger.
Yeah.
I will say this. Go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, like, Yu-Gi-Oh was my first card game. It's like, I got used to it, and then I had to make an adjustment when I played other card games, because I was like, oh, I'm not used to these cards being so, like, big in my hand, just because I got used to Yu-Gi-Oh size cards. But I agree, the cards being tiny, and there being, like, a story, like a novel in each card.
And you gotta buy different special sleeves for them.
Yeah, you have to buy Japanese size sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a physical example here. You can see just how much extra room is here.
Mm-hmm.
And like, when you put a Yu-Gi-Oh card in a sleeve, you can actually have just the size of a Digimon card. Like, it is almost 1-to-1 when it's in its sleeve. So if you have a sleeved Digimon card compared to like a sleeved Yu-Gi-Oh card, it is quite the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can show you here, like, you can see just how much of that red pokes through. So you can really tell, like, the difference there.
Yeah. I will say this.
Makes sense how much text is on Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, real quick, this has nothing to do with this comment, but actually the comment before where he said and nerd stuff. Neither one of you are going to care about this. Free Ren should have won Anime of the Year over Solo Leveling. I think people seem to forget it was Solo Leveling Season 1, not 2, which 2 is the better season of the 2. You guys all voted based off nostalgia for Season 2, that had just aired. You were all wrong. Free Run should have won. That's it.
Chris, you are absolutely correct. I do not care about what you just said.
Yep.
He also said, when is Gravity Crush getting limited? Next ban
Not
list
soon enough.
for Jerseys. It is
So
definitely getting hit.
Yeah, this was another discussion we've had. So we were like a lot of people have been wondering why all the other ones got hit but not Gravity Crush. Because at the time when they did the hit, all the other cards were being abused in other decks.
It wasn't being actively abused during the time they made the ban list.
Agreed. They could have.
They should have just preemptively hit it. It's kind of ridiculous that they didn't. They weren't like, oh, we should probably hit this just before it gets started.
Yeah, if only there was a deck coming soon that would just abuse it rampant.
Nobody saw it coming, except for the few people that did, and then it spread like wildfire. Digimon can just abuse it and just absolutely kill opponents with no interaction. They are never gaining back any of that memory that they get from the Gravity Crush.
Yeah.
Like it had seen some play in Red Hybrid, but not to the rampant abuse that Digimon's putting it through. So
yeah,
hopefully on the next ban list it gets hit.
It is for sure getting hit on the next ban list. Like the fact that it dodged it when they hit everything else was ridiculous. We even said it when we were looking at the ban list. We also discussed how they would hit Digimon. I think most likely they'll just limit Grav Crush. I think if they limit Grav Crush, the deck is probably fine.
You guys talked about it. If they want to hit Gallant X and Digimon, they hit.
If they feel like hitting it,
that's not enough.
Harder than just limiting Grav Crush. I think the other card they hit is Growlmon X to 1.
Yes.
Because they have shown they're going to hit. If any X antibody line card is going to get hit, it's 9 times out of 10 the level 4.
Yeah.
The level 4 also gives you extra draw power, and it lets you spit out an extra body when you slip and slide.
Yes.
So.
Well, another thing is, we were talking about this. The cool thing about Bandai with Digimon, unlike some other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, when they do ban lists, I said when they do ban lists, they don't absolutely try and cripple decks.
Yeah.
They do try and hit the deck to bring the power level down and maybe make it to where people don't want to play it as much, which does happen. We saw it happen with like decks like Purple Hybrid, where like it was the most represented deck, it got hit and then it fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Where we see it's still a good deck that can compete and win games. It's just not going to be as represented because people have that history of, oh, the deck got touched on the ban list, no longer play it.
Yep.
Where in Digimon, they do that. They just try and bring down the power level to where it's more on an even playing field with everyone. And other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, they're like, we're hitting your main cards. That deck is no longer playable.
We are crippling this deck by our new set.
Yeah, buy the new set that has more cards in it. With Digimon, they don't try and do that. You know, if you make an investment on the deck, there's a chance it gets hit. If it does, it's going to bring down its power level. It's not going to be the competitive beast it was, but it's still going to be playable.
Yeah, like even when they hit those two cards, if they hit both of them, Megidra's still a good deck. It's just not. They're not going to be like, hey, you know, you thought you were getting another turn. I'm going to gain 10 memory and just kill you this turn.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not nearly as explosive. It's not as it's burst damage, controlled burst damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just burst damage followed by lethal damage.
Yeah. Dareday436. This face down as first effect is really cool and opens the door for effects against your opponent. Being able to flip their sources down and denying the effect. Magnex can't do shenanigans if Magnex is face down as first. I agree. I didn't even think about this, but yeah, that introduces the ability to just do that to your opponent's sources. I feel like that's probably going to be a black thing, but
yeah, imagine black comboing that with D-Digivolve. Flip your top source face down, D-Evo. Oh, sorry, your whole stack's gone now, bruh.
Yeah, a face down card cannot exist in the battle area. So yeah, that would be pretty rough. Yeah, that is an interesting concept. That would be really rough for Magna X players, because like if for some reason you can get them to where they're not immune and then flip down the armor, they no longer have an armor in their sources.
Right.
But yeah, that is an interesting thing that probably will be introduced in the game now that we have face down sources. Jim the Kid. I'm excited for Alteress. It's my favorite. The ping pong Digivolve style is so unique. Personally, I thought you would say Digimon is the closest deck to the deck I play in Yu-Gi-Oh! And have seen success with that playstyle. Thank you for your advice. Thank you for your advice. Hopefully when I'm back to playing more consistently, I'll find my deck and my groove. Hope to see y'all at events as soon as I'm confident enough in my skills.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gigimon's also a good deck if you have the Gigimons and stuff. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Just bring back the ping pong, Sean. Just do it for like a week. Throw it up on the poll.
As soon as we get EX9, dude, I'm going to try it and make it work. No.
This week. Old school ping pong.
No one wants to watch me go 0-4 at locals.
Nobody would watch it. You just wouldn't publish it.
That is correct, because I know no one would want to watch it. Hey guys, here's me getting massacred again playing Alter S. Hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, do you guys want to see a dead body? It's me.
It's me.
I'm the dead body. There's also a paywall for Megidra on top of the Gigimons. You need the promo Gallants, which are currently sitting at about $40 a piece. So if you don't already have those, it's...
Yeah, if you did not pick them up... that one's not as bad, because that one got reprinted, and the reprint is...
The box topper's like $5 or $6, I think.
That's fair.
Unless it's like tripled in price. Yeah, if you did not pick up your promo Gallants like a week or two ago when they were like... I think I got mine for like 12. They were like anywhere between $12 and $17. You are in big trouble because they are now skyrocketing, going to 40. Because again, they're being played in 3 relevant decks in Gallantmon, Royal Knights, and Megidramon. So
yeah,
you can even play it in Galaxy if you feel like it.
Yeah, Galaxy too.
Yeah, Warrior.
I mean, with all the DP bonuses, you can pop your own Galaxy stack.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't like it in anything but Megidra and Royal Knights, because like in Gallantmon, if you have a DP buff, you're blowing your own stack up, and same thing in Galaxy, where a lot of your inheritables are going to give you a buff. So like, it doesn't make sense.
I was very confused when I see it in Gallant list. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, why though?
Why, Shui?
Yeah. Warrior NK, it's Mastamon. I'm assuming they were guessing what I was bringing to the Mesquite Regionals way off.
So off. No way.
So far off.
That deck has so many problems.
I would never do that to myself.
I love myself.
Yeah, I love myself too much to do that to myself. If it were tier 1, yeah, I would try it, but it's not. I would just go like probably X5 if I'm lucky, or no, I'm sorry, X6 if I'm lucky. And just feel real bad about making that decision. Chemical Chocobo, Black War Greymon Jump Scare. I'm assuming my computer background popped up at one point. I'm normally better about cutting that out, but I guess I missed one.
Oops.
Technolich 667. Zefgamon just needs another immune Grand Galmon to be viable. Being able to consistently pump out medieval Gallantmons that are unaffected by Digimon effects is a winning formula. Right now, just suffers from only having one good level 5. I would agree.
Yeah, one more good level 5 would be scary, but it's still the whole vortex effect thing, where it's like, you do still require your opponent to have Digimon on the field with vortex to like do the end of turn swing things.
I forgot to tell you guys about this. I was sitting near it and I looked over and saw it and I was like, that's actually a really good idea. I don't know how consistent it is and like how clunky it feels, but it was an interesting concept. Is it the level 4 from Leviamon? It's called Octomon. Is that what it is?
Yes, it plays the token.
Yeah.
So someone over in another table, one of the higher tables, and I forget what round it was, but he was playing Vortex Warriors, and he had an Octomon on his side of the field, and he was vortexing into his opponent's token and making him trash cards out of his hand. And he obviously had a medieval on the field and stuff. Like, I was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea, because you can just force them to play into your stuff.
Right. And they're just like, cool. You don't want any Digimon? Well, here you go. Here's one.
Yeah, here's a Digimon for you that's suspended that I'm going to swing into with Vortex. Yeah, I
just feel like that card would be such a brick in your hand sometimes.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, as cool as that seems, I feel like that would be kind of awkward. But I mean, it was working for him at that point. We were near like in the 20s maybe at that point, but I don't know what round it was. Friendly Ginger 4877. We are so back. Alter S is my goat. It's the only reason I started playing. I remember when I saw you playing Alter S, and that got me full in. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm already testing it. We are back.
Oh yeah.
Alter S is finally back.
We're so back.
Alter B's back.
We are so back. Shut the hell up. We are so back. I'm very excited for the opportunity to actually play Alter S again and not assume that I'm just going to go X4 at locals.
Should be nice. You'd hope.
I hope.
Nice. Hey, good
Let's
job.
go.
Good job. Good job. Proud of you.
Hey,
Alright.
listen. According to my mother-in-law, they were out here installing something in the ground, so hopefully that means I'm getting fiber soon.
A girl can dream.
A girl can dream.
All right, boys. Have a good day, Brandon. I'll see you in a little bit. I'll message you before I head out.
Later.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.